Black cat pastor dashing through pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to Paul's fine phrases. Turning them corners, no spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Songs singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extend. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Wondered if the sound was going to be off today. For some reason, I had that sinking suspicion, but it looks good. It sounds good. All right. I'm trying to relaunch my computer behind me, so if it suddenly got brighter, that's what it was. Okay, bum. Still loading. Had some updates you got to do, so wanting to get that up and rolling. Did have to have some fun with fish over the weekend. That tank over there is empty. They've been moved into, well, I should say that's aquarium. They got moved into a tank. I don't know what other way to call it. It's an indoor pond, if you will. And so you can see I still have hoses laying around on the ground there, which I still got more stuff going on with the fish. Okay. Fun for everyone. Let's see where we're at. Hey, Donut Christian. Monday. Oh, sorry. Wrong button. All right. Let's pull that up. Come on. There we are. All right. There's where we're at. Oh, and I need to switch. My stream is telling me it is unstable today, so not sure what's going on, but I will be having a conversation later today, hopefully, with the internet service provider where I am going to be upgrading to fiber. I'm gonna upgrade to fiber. So, and I'm gonna need to put this. Excuse me. Need to put this in the Discord. The church that I was talking to in New York, they went in a different direction. So, all right, I'm just diving into digital more. No problem. So that'll help me out, being able to figure out things. Les, Amy, greetings to you, my friend. Good to see you. How are things? Things are good. You know what? I don't need to keep listening to myself. I have that to check when I get started, and now I don't need to listen to myself the rest of the stream. I know some people do like that, but not me so much. Not me. I don't really like listening to myself all the way through. So, just getting started. I am excited about the week. I have some things to get done, but I'm finally going to be able to move on some things that I've been delaying, and so that feels good to finally have some closure on that. Yeah, I don't like listening to myself. My brain is dumb. I want to listen to God. No, mine is more of the delay. Like, it's got to go from my computer to my phone, then back to my earbuds. So it's a timing thing. Like, I will say it, and then I'll hear it on a delay. And so while I'm trying to talk and say something currently, I'm hearing it, on a 30-second delay or something like that. It gets really annoying trying to maintain a thought that you're hearing yourself 30 seconds ago. So that's fun. But I'm glad you're here, and I hope you're going to have a great week, friend. I hope you're going to have a great week. So, sorry, I'm checking on my other computer behind me. Okay. Pull that back up where I was at. Pull that up. I'm trying to get some updates done on the, let me just go large. That way I'm not tiny. I'm trying to get some updates done on this computer. It needed some stuff done so I can get the fish cams back up and that stream running. And one of them is a subscription thing that I thought was going to help, and it ended up being not as helpful as I want, and I only did it for 1 month, so now today's the last day. I need to finish it and then cancel it since it's, not doing much. That would make you feel like you'd gone. Is that bonkers? Is that what it is? Yeah, bonkers, yeah. Yes, they are on there. So I did get one more that came in at the end of Friday after I was already cleaning up and needed to leave from painting. So I've got one more to put on there, and I think I might do a little bit of just extra artistic coloring. We were starting to put on there, if you weren't here, we were starting to put on there some hearts and some crosses and some other things just to decorate that out a little more. It's not easy to see from all the way across the room. So this may become a rotation thing where I'll leave it up there for a month and then I'll switch it out next month to something else, and we'll figure out how that goes. All right, okay. I know why they're not opening, because this is what happens whenever this computer restarts. It's like it's non-functional for a half an hour, 45. So, all right, it's just going to sit there, and we will get on with what we were going to do anyway. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I like my background with the fishes and all the hats. It was nicer when it cut across this way. As far as things go, because you could see the hats a whole lot better. Yeah, I've debated on moving that in again, but I made the room 4 feet longer. So that's why instead of cutting across and me being in a little cubicle, they're further back. All right. So we are on Messiah Monday. And that means it's going to be Matthew 7 is where we're at. So we are still working our way through the Sermon on the Mount, which started in Matthew 5. So, I think we're still in the same context. I still think we're supposed to be focused on being salt and light. The Beatitudes are about being salt and light. And all of these others, you've heard it said, but I tell you, are about being salt and light. So I think we need to keep that in mind all the way through as a reading. If I wanted just one theme to hold on to, I'm going to pull on the salt and light. We could pull on the Beatitudes. We could pull on the being a blessing or how we receive blessing. I think the salt and light is the easiest one to see weaving all the way through. The main event of the stream is looking dapper too. Well, thank you. I hope so. Although, how dapper is a t-shirt, really? You know, be the example you want to see in the world. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So let's just go back, and this is a one time where the titles are somewhat helpful because it just helps us to refresh of what we covered in those sections. Living Frost, thank you for the lurk. Lurk is love. Okay, so we started with the Beatitudes, and Jesus telling us that the way the world thinks and puts down people that are poor in spirit, people that are mourning, people that are meek, people that are hungering and thirsting for righteousness, people that are merciful, people that are pure in heart, people that are peacemakers, and those that are persecuted, those are things that the world wants to avoid. And Jesus is saying, no, there is blessing within them. And then goes a step further and says, and when you are persecuted and insulted on account of me, you are also blessed. Then he says, what you are to be is salt and light. So I think the Beatitudes all lead all the way into being salt and light. And if you lose salty, I just listened to a new take on the salt and saltiness, and I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I listened to lots of podcasts, and I was like, ooh, that's cool. A new nuance with salt and light. Sorry. My computer finally is doing something back here. So it flashes, and I'll check on it. So salt and light, and then he's talking about fulfillment of the law. Hey, Scarlet Savage! Don't get salty about it. Exactly. The abolishing of the law and the prophets, or the filling them. Babsteel, welcome in. Ooh, the salty emote. So he talks about that, and there's a lot of discussion around what. Oh, you know what I'm noticing? I need to change my coloration. I really wish that I didn't have to switch all the way to dark mode just to get. So some. Just looking at how bad it is for you guys to see there. So let me switch this. Some of the browsers, even though the browser is in dark mode, some websites will not switch to dark mode. But I have my computer mostly set up in dark mode. And then some of the websites just don't fully do that. Where are we at as far as size? There we go. That's a little bigger. Okay. So welcome in, everybody. We're just doing a review here of where we are in Matthew as you're coming in to get us caught up so that we can go into Matthew 7, because Matthew 5, 6, and 7 are one sermon. So there's a horrible, horrible breaking up. It should not be broken up into chapters. It should be all one chapter. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I think that Jesus is doing one sermon here and that Matthew isn't doing a collection of the themes that Jesus is teaching and did teach and putting them all together in one thing. I think he is, but that doesn't mean that I want it broken up. Last, oh my goodness, your neighbor is coughing so loudly you can hear it through the walls. Poor woman, as she's quit smoking, so it should get better. Yeah, well, and the difficulty of quitting smoking and staying quit, and then your body trying to recover from that. Yeah, that can be difficult. Okay, so there's a whole big thing on what does it mean to fulfill the law versus abolish it. And then Jesus goes after that into a sayings of, you've heard it said, but I tell you. So if you think this is good enough, let me tell you, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. So on murder, on adultery, on divorce, on oaths, on retaliation, on loving your enemies, yes, that's a thing you should do. Hating your enemies, everybody can do that. But does God hate your enemies? Here's one of the things. I just don't find it in Scripture of that we are to, hate the sin and love the sinner. And this is another one of those places where, no, we are to love our enemies. Point blank, that's it. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you so you can be like your Father in heaven. Not berating them, not denigrating them, not attacking them because we think they are sinful. I just don't see that. And then there's passages like this: let's love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. So how can I be praying for you and loving you if I'm also tearing you down? I can't. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what Jesus said: love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. That's it. It's kind of what you're supposed to do. Last Amy, I can forgive my enemies and be kind to them, but I don't want to be near them. True. Also, depending upon what kind of enemy they are and whether they're safe to be around or not, or safe for you, and protection of yourself. I don't think that's anything to do with what's going on here. But I'm not wishing ill against my enemy either. The thing I clicked on 10 minutes ago is finally opening up on the computer behind me. So, anyway, he's like, don't even tax collectors do that. Like, you want to talk about the low of society? They're capable of loving the people that love them. Okay? And then the Gentiles do the same thing. But God loves all. God sends the rain and the sun on everybody. He doesn't, this is one of those things that would this is the thinking that people have. Okay, this is not God's thinking. Why doesn't God just have it rain only on the people that love him and their property, and then the rest of it would be a desert? So wherever there's someone that God loves, there would be rain, and that would cause the other people to love God because then they'd get rain. Well, if all you do is love God because you get stuff from him, how is that love? So you would turn God into a vending machine by doing that. Like, if I can get from God rain and other things only by loving him, well, then I will love him, so I get those things. Then I'm loving him because he is the vending machine that gives me the things that I want, not because of who he is or that he's created me or regardless of whether I have or don't have. It's manipulative, and that's the wisdom of the world. Oh, I was pushing the wrong thing. I thought I was pushing record. Oh, Sorry. I know what I was thinking there. Sorry. That is not clip. I was thinking I was making a clip, and I pushed the wrong button. This is the button for clip, and now it'll be too late. Les Amy, yes, I find it hard to find balance between being kind and trying to get away as quickly as possible. Yeah, and depending on who you are and who that person is, yeah, I broke it. Depending on who you are and who that person is, I may need to not be in a deep relationship with you to, oh, and I need to change what we're studying here at the top. I just see it now. Oh, no way. I just realized something. Da 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 da. That's so cool. I love when I figure out something new. Okay. Yes, if I'll just pick on this. If I'm in a relationship with someone that has abused me and beat me up mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, okay? And every time they are around me, there is trauma upon me and or fear of them doing something to me. I do not need to be in a relationship with them, but I can still forgive them. I can still pray for them. I can still want the best for them. I just need for myself to not be in that relationship directly with them. So, okay. So, oh, and then we talked about what is our motivation for the things that we do? Are we doing things so that people notice and they look at us and they go, wow, look at how spiritual that guy is. Look at how holy that gal is. Why, they're so close to Jesus. Why, they're radiating him off of them. And it's nope. So we look at that on our giving or our righteous deeds, our charity, and we draw attention to it. In our prayer lives, that we draw attention to ourselves. Look at me, how holy I am that I pray. Oh, another app is finally opening up. It says it's starting, so I've got some activity finally happening back there. This is why I got that computer back there thinking it was going to be good for streaming and gaming, and yeah, my laptop is better than that one, but it's a refurbished, and I mean, it's got the capacity, but there's something functionally slow about it, if that makes sense. Okay. And then fasting, and then where we are storing up our treasures, and then what we are worried about in life. So all of those activities. You've been dealing with that computer issue for weeks. Oh, no. Papstio, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm just checking. Also, like for some reason today, my bit rate is unstable too. So if the stream goes off and I got problems, I'm sorry. But I also will be getting better internet soon. I now have fiber optic available, and going to be getting that hooked up soon. Ukulele, thank you for the lurk. Okay, so that's the review of where we are. Oh, King David, welcome in. For the scripture says, whoever believes upon him will not be put to shame. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Papsio, you just got a new one that's way more powerful than anything you've streamed with before, so you should be good to go for a while. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I wanted to get a separate one for doing my ponds, and I thought I was going to put the old computer, the laptop, with the ponds, and it turns out I'm doing it the other way around. So I'm just doing updating. So New Zealand internet is pretty good considering how long the cable to connect us to the world is under the ocean. Yeah, those cables that go across oceans are amazing. They are amazing for sure. Oh, now it says I have an excellent bit rate. Okay, maybe it's becoming stable. Okay, so that's where we are. Jesus is confronting the thinking of the world. This is how I live, and I'm a good person. And Jesus is saying, not so much. Not so much. Yeah, you think you're good, but you're not doing anything more than anyone else. Yeah, you've never seen a photo of one? You bet a chunky. I've seen some of the boats that are laying cables, and they can be pretty hefty. They can be pretty hefty, but I don't know which ones those were or how long ago that was. Okay, we're on to chapter 7 now. This is the new part. This is the new part. Do not judge so that you will not be judged. The point of the statement, do not judge so that you will not be judged, is that the standards we apply to others, God applies to us. The passive verb, will not be judged, has God in the unstated performer of the action. Such usage is generally thought to have arisen within Judaism out of the tendency to minimize the mention of God's name out of reverence for God and carry over into early Christian traditions. Although it is, in this particular verse, the agent may be left unstated more for rhetorical effect. Okay. Do not judge so that you will not be judged. For with the standard you judge, you will be judged. And with the measure you use will be measured. Oh, sorry. Will be the measure you receive. There we go. Okay. I want to go look up the word judge. Going to go look up the word judge because I want to go see what word we're dealing with here. What is the nuance of... Sorry, I type in judge. That was not what I wanted. Matthew 7 is what I wanted. So then I want to look up the word judge, so my brain said, yeah, let's put that in there. Okay. Crino. Kind of feeling the vibe of cringe out of that.
Strong's G 2919. Crino.
Okay. To separate, to put asunder, to pick, to select, to choose. So if you are thinking about this, when two people are in a dispute, the judge is picking between the two people in a dispute. You can also look at it as to approve or esteem the one person that brings the accusation, or to approve or esteem the person defending themselves. To be of opinion, to determine, to resolve, to judge, to pronounce an opinion concerning right and wrong, to pronounce judgment, to subject to censure, to rule, to govern, to contend together, to dispute. So, one of the things with the idea in the Old Testament of biblical justice is restoration is the outcome. It's not like we think of judging in the sense of punitive, who's right, who's wrong, and punishment. No. Judging in Scripture, especially coming from the Old Testament into the New, is the idea of restoration of relationship, of righting wrongs, but restoration back to things that were before. So, when I am acting as the judge, I am the one pronouncing what is right and what is wrong and deciding between things. So, if I use a good standard, I will have a good standard used against me. If I am corrupt in the standard that I use and I accept bribes or I show favoritism or other things, well, do I want that happening to me? Strong voice sounds a little like Trump to Kiwi ears. No, I would go more in the direction of like a James Earl Jones or someone there. But I hear you. Okay, so with the same standard I use will be the one that I receive. So where does this happen? Why do you see the speck in your brother's eyes but fail to see the beam of wood in your own? The day has not been translated. Okay, just the term translated speck, mote, or splinter refers to a small piece of wood, chaff, or straw. But you do not notice the term beam of wood refers to a very large piece of wood, the main beam of a building, in contrast to the speck. Yeah, the contrast here could not be bigger. Like if you had like older style traditional things before we had all the modern being able to span large distances, you had pillars that would hold up the roof in the middle of it. If you go into old basements, you may have that too. Some churches have those too, where they'll have pillars or poles that'll hold up the basement. So think of one of those, like a big giant beam that is there for structural support versus a little piece of chaff that came, some straw or something that which is probably actually something you would get in your eye. Okay, like if you ever got dust or sand or something, like that's the reference there, like something that would actually get in your eye. Why do you see that in your brother's eye, but you fail to see the giant piece of beam that is a structural support? So in other words, I think there's some reference there too. The whole structural support, the foundationals, yeah. You notice that, but you're missing the big giant thing that everyone else can see. Okay. Also, this just goes right back to what I was talking about earlier. When I am judging you and I am condemning you and I am not loving you. Hey, Galaxy, thanks for the lurk. I am doing exactly this. Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye while there is a beam in your own? So I'm going to, so I can see the problem over there. And he's like, oh, what's worse is not only that you see the problem over there and you condemn your brother over there, that you go over to your brother to try to fix your brother when you got a bigger problem and you ain't fixing yourself. Go take a look at what you see the bulk of Christians in social media doing. Condemning the person over there for what they are doing. You are judging them by a standard. You are calling them out on things. You are going, let me help you over there, brother. And you're not looking at yourself. Well, Jesus says, you hypocrite! First, remove the beam from your own eye, and then you can see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Quit condemning other people. Take care of yourself. Quit chastising other people. Maybe that beam in your eye is getting in the way of you seeing that speck, and you think it's a speck, and you got bigger problems. Figure out yourself. What's also interesting is, like, we are very familiar with this usage of hypocrite. Like, this is not a common usage of hypocrite until Jesus uses it. And then it becomes pretty prominent. Why must human beings be so hard to do well? Yes. Because we are selfish. We think more highly of ourselves than we ought to. Okay. First, remove the beam. Okay, so... yeah, I think we understand the way that hypocrite is being used here, but like I was saying, before Jesus starts using hypocrite in this manner, it was just a theatrical thing of putting on a face. And now it's oh, you mean I've got a facade that I show everyone, but I'm really different underneath. And it's like, yeah, bingo. I'm going to hide my sin, which is huge. And how am I going to hide my sin, which is huge? I'm going to condemn you for your little sin over there. Let me call out your little sin over there. Let me keep pointing out little sins all over the place. Look at how that makes me look holy, and I'm going to condemn you, and I'm going to be self-righteous, and everyone's going to adore me, but all that stuff is hidden in the closet back there, and no one can see what I'm really up to when no one's looking. God holds a mirror up to our face. And my gosh, do we look good compared to his perfect... we do not look good compared to his perfect reflection. Yeah. Okay. So remember, this is in the section of judging. Is how are you doing this to other people? Is this the standard you want God to use towards you? Is this the standard you want other people to use towards you? I want people to give me grace and mercy when I mess up, when I royally mess up, when I fall on my face, like I just did there by saying the wrong word, and I fall on my face. Boy, stumbling over words today. Give me grace, and I will give you grace. I'll give you grace and hope you give me that too. Okay, first remove the beam in your own eye, and then you can see clearly to remove the speck in your brother's eye. Do not give what is holy to dogs or throw your pearls before pigs, otherwise they will trample them under their feet and turn around and tear you to pieces. Okay, so this is an interesting phrase. We have just switched, in a sense, from we are talking about our brother and our self-righteousness, and then he's saying, don't give what is holy to dogs or throw your pearls before swine. This is the afterwards. When I have the standard that I have, I'm not going to put things in front of other people and show all of these things in front of other people that are not going to understand them, that are not going to... So, the majority of the church does not see, nor do they understand, doing mission in digital spaces, or do they believe that you can have digital relationships? So you know what I don't need to do? Go try to win them over. As let me just stand up and tell you, Pastor, the truth about this, because I'm throwing my pearls before swine. I'm going to get trampled under feet and torn to pieces. There's danger in correcting other people. There's danger in and I think this is more of the when I am right, now I put things out there. So we can fool others and ourselves, but not God. Oh yeah, I like how you put in there fooling ourselves, because we often think that we can fool other people, and when we're trying to hold that, we are fooling ourselves. I wonder on times like, why is it that we want to fool ourselves into thinking that we are good and there's nothing wrong and I don't need to change and I'm better than other people? Maybe it just comes in comparison that we end up doing that. I don't know. Okay. We could go more on this, the not throwing your pearls. Okay, so pearls would be a way of talking about wisdom, okay? You search scriptures, looking for pearls of wisdom is one of the things that you are going to do. So there is and I can never remember the Jewish terms for them, the rabbis use, but there is a surface level, there's a deeper level, and there is a really hidden level. And that finding it in the hidden level is finding pearls. One of the other things that would be talked about is stringing pearls. Pearls are wisdom found in there that you have found, that has been revealed to you. So taking and stringing pearls together is going to find all these things and show them together. So, even if I am correct and my brother has a problem and I come bring wisdom to them, why would I waste my time if they're not going to listen about it? They might just turn on me and trample me. Just think of the example of all the prophets that go and they bring the truth of God to people that do not want to hear it, and then they kill the prophets. Okay, so, there's that. There's that. Hey, Lucis, welcome in. Okay, now we're moving in another direction. So we are laying our pearls. We're not laying our pearls before swine. We are forgiving one another. We are using a measurement on other people for ourselves. So if we are first using a measurement towards other people, now we're going to look at what do we do in relationship. Again, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened for you. Let me just see if these are all active, if that's the point they're going to make here. Yes, the three present imperatives in the verse are best viewed as imperative. List the verse as an example of usage calling for repeated action. Many interpreters see the three present imperatives, ask, seek, knock, as mainly limited to persistence in prayer, though others see them referring generally to taking the initiative with God in various ways. Yeah, I kind of like taking initiative. It refers to the door as implied by the context. Truth can be very aggravating. So true. So, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open unto you. So, you need to take action. And yes, these could be referred to as in prayer. But let me. Here's one of the things that I've run into a couple of times down at the prayer booth. So, down at the prayer booth, and by the way, if you want more info on that, here, let me click the dono button. You can click over there and you can read a little bit more about it. I've had 2 or 3 people make the comments in regards to praying about something isn't doing something about it. Why don't you go do something about it instead of praying about it? And I'm thinking, I don't understand. Who is praying and then not doing something? Like, if I am praying for God to give me a new job, I'm not sitting at home waiting for a new job. I am praying about it, and I am filling out applications, and I'm going to interviews. Okay? So I'm asking, I'm seeking, I'm knocking. I'm doing all 3 of those things. I'm asking God about it. I am seeking one out, and then I'm knocking down the doors trying to get that to happen. Okay? So I'm just confused as to who this person, or I should say these people, have been interacting with, that they only end up thinking that prayer is what we should do and we take no action, because that just is foreign to me, that idea of prayer with no action whatsoever. So, anyway. And last, Amy and Lucis just chatting back and forth. Blessings, and giving a follow to Living Frost. Yes. Let me just double check if I'm following you, Living Frost. That wasn't the way I wanted to do it.
Dark gray, purplish gray.
I am. Okay. Sorry. I clicked on it and I thought it was going to open just to check if I was following or not. It did not. Okay. For everyone who asks, receives, and everyone who seeks, finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be open. Is there anyone among you who, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then, although you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? In everything, treat others as you would want to be treated, for this fulfills the law and the prophets. Okay, look at that phrase there at the end of that. We have, how are we treating other people? And we have fulfilling the law. Those are 2 previous sections that we were talking about. So this is going back to concluding thoughts that were started earlier. In everything, treat others how you would want to be treated. Boom. All right. Now, fulfilling the law. That's how you fulfill the law. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. That's how you do it. Loving your enemies. We talked about that. Forgiving other people. We've talked about that. Being salt and light. We've talked about this. All of this is a reflection back on all the things that have already been mentioned in this section, and going, just because regular people know that if their kid wants something, they're not going to be a numbskull and give them something evil, you need to do more. And your Father in heaven ain't going to be like those people that you know who are going to be pranksters and maltreatment, malfeasance of their children. Okay. Let me see if there's anything here on the footnotes for the snake. The 2 questions use a construct in Greek that expects a negative answer. No parent would do this. 14 has been translated as a consecutive adverbial. In spite of the fact that the hearers are evil, they still know how to give good gifts to their children. All right. Epitome! Welcome in. Greetings and salutations. Your audio is off, but put your baby back to sleep. Off to sleep again. May the Lord bless your stream. Epitome, thank you, friend. Thank you. Last Amy, scrolling back up. I feel like you're going to be told no more following streams by Twitch. So many amazing content creators out there. Last Amy, I had that happen earlier this month, a couple of weeks ago. I hit the donk, and it was like, you cannot follow any more streamers. So it is a real thing. What I did was go back and unfollow anyone who does not have an emote. You know, they just have, well, I shouldn't say anyone. Most of them, a few of them, like, oh, you don't have a face on there? Okay, I think you know, you're the right person. But if I didn't know their name and they didn't have an actual emote that they had updated, I just stopped following those people. So I may run into them again. I may have followed them early on. Or, you know, at some point I was following people back that were following me. And there's probably more I can get rid of. So when I hit the donk again, I'll go back and filter again. So it was like, oh no. And I was like, seriously, someone knew that I really wanted to try to follow so I wouldn't forget them. I do not know what the limit is. I also wish there was a way to sort them out. It looks like they are in order that I followed them as I scrolled back through them to eliminate people. But I wish there was a way that would say, when was the last time this person streamed? So if it's someone who hasn't streamed in 2 years, I might unfollow that person, you know, because they're not currently streaming. So there's that. Or, you know, they may have left the platform. There's a few people, and I didn't unfollow them because maybe they'll come back to the platform. But I knew a few people that left and went over to Kick, or they went to TikTok, or their focus has shifted. So I might be in the Twitch data somewhere that you could search and find out. I don't know what the number was, but I hit it. So, so the comparison is, okay, even people that you wouldn't associate with, they know how to give good gifts to their children, and your Heavenly Father is way better than them. Why would you think, if you're asking for good gifts, that your Heavenly Father would not give you good gifts? Your Heavenly Father wants to give you good gifts and is waiting for you to ask. I always liken this, and if you've been around my stream, you probably heard me say this. I used to, all the time, when I would go to stores in the clearance, I'd go through the shoe aisle. In fact, I still do. We went through the shoe aisle yesterday. My wife and I went to Kohl's, and we went through the shoe aisle to see if there were any shoes in the clearance. I was really close to buying myself a pair of Vans. I haven't had Vans in a long time. I used to wear Vans in high school. That's how long ago it was I had a pair of Vans. And Converse is probably college, and I haven't had a pair of Converse since. So those are the old school shoes that I'm nostalgic for, and I'd love to buy a pair of them, but they were really good looking shoes, and I just like, no, I don't need them. So I didn't. But anyway, I used to buy. My point was, I would see them in the clearance, I'd buy them, I'd put them on the shelf in the closet, wait for my kids to ask. I'm waiting to give good gifts to my kids. I am. And so is the Heavenly Father, just waiting to be asked. The sun will be up in 4.5 hours. Abba gave me pickle. Yes, best gift ever. Very cool. Well, if you need to go get sleep, Last Amy, or if you need to lurk, and just lay there, or if you're gonna wait till I'm done streaming, that's all good too. I appreciate you being here, friend. Okay. In everything, treat others as you want them to treat you. This is the generic use of anthropos, referring to both males and females. Verse 18, Jesus teaching as reflected in the paraphrase, treat others as you would want them to treat you, known generally as the Golden Rule, is not completely unique in ancient world, but here it is stated in its most emphatic, selfless form. It is stated negatively in Tobit 4:15 and can also be found in the Talmud in a story about the great Rabbi Hillel, who is said to have told a Gentile who asked to be taught the Torah, "Was it hateful to you? What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. That is the whole Torah, while the rest is commentary thereof. Go and learn it." Ah, that's interesting. You've been sleeping too much lately and nothing to do today, so you'll just take it easy. Okay. Sounds good. So, I've heard people attacking the Golden Rule, do unto others or treat others as you want them to treat you. As this is not a good rule. This is inferior. Why, we've come up with a new rule, a platinum rule, or they'll call it a diamond rule. And when I first ran across this a couple of years ago, I'm like, what in the world? Is there like, no, do unto others as they want to have you do to them. See, that's far superior than doing unto others as the way you want, because the way you want may not be the way that they want. And it's like, okay, so you've just fully explained what it really means. You had a misunderstanding of what it means, and then you try to say the better way is the way you have, and it's like, no, you've just actually explained what the Golden Rule is. Doing unto others as you would want them to treat you. Yes, not, I want everyone to tip the cap to me, therefore I tip the cap to everyone else. No, it's not. I'm going to enforce this on other people. You're misreading it. It's no. If what I would love is for someone to comment me about my hat, what is it about them that they would like me to comment on? So I need to know the person. I need to explore what they want and love. If they love cookies, I'm going to give them cookies, not because I love cookies, but because they love cookies, and I want to be treated with the things that I love. So I'm going to treat them with the things they love. You're explaining it by degrading it. You didn't understand it, and then your explanation of the new rule is the Golden Rule. It's like the weirdest thing I came across. So, anyway, this is one of the ways that it's like this fulfills the whole law, which is another way of, so we have being salt and light. We're still in that. How do you become salt and light? You treat others as you want to be treated, as you would. You do not, I don't want to be treated with disdain. I do not want people to be selfish. So therefore I don't need to be selfish. I want people to love me, therefore I love other people. I want to be respected, therefore I respect other people. It's not about a particular one kind of thing that we do. You know, it is the whole attitude towards it. Flint679, thank you for the lurk. Okay, now sometimes people are like, oh, these are all unrelated, these are all disconnected. No. How do I still be salt and light? How do I still love my neighbor? How am I loving God and not judging other people? Enter through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is spacious that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter it. How narrow is the gate and difficult the way that leads to life, and there are few that find it. I think this is just another way of explaining being the kind of person that is loving their neighbor as themselves, treating people the way that you want to be treated, instead of just doing whatever you want. Being selfish is the wide way. Loving other people is the narrow way. You don't want people to gossip about me? I don't gossip about other people. There you go. Okay, let's see what the footnote is here. The same verb in Matthew 5:20 suggests that the kingdom of heaven is to be understood here in the object. Ah, okay. So if it's the same verb, we may have a chiasm going on here, because we are matching 5 back to 7 as we go. Oh, okay. And then this is just saying this could be an exclamation. How narrow is it? Or it indeed is narrow. Look how narrow. That kind of thing. Leads to life. Here, the destination is specified as life. In several places, Matthew uses life or eternal life in proximity to the kingdom of heaven, suggesting a close relationship between the two concepts. Matthew consistently portrays eternal life as something a person enters into the world to come, whereas the Gospel of John sees eternal life as beginning in the present and continuing to the future. So I don't see Matthew as exclusively in the future, not now. It's only always in the future. No, it leads to life. And you are on the way. You are in the way. So the way is your life. And so anyway, I don't see as big a distinction as they're making there. And few find it. Yeah. Go look at the mass number of people in the world. How many people are self-centered and selfish? How many people are sacrificing for other people? Oh boy, it's a big number that are selfish. And boy, it's a small number that are sacrificing for other people. So, how do we know what kind of people we are looking at? How do we know the salt and light with which we speak? Watch out for false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are voracious wolves. You will recognize them by their fruit. Grapes are not gathered from thorns, or figs from thistles, are they? Answer is no. I'm going to assume that's what this footnote will say. The Greek construct anticipates a negative answer. They do not gather. This has been simplified here. Yeah, they are not gathered. They do not. Yeah, nobody's going out to the thorn bushes and going, look at these wonderful grapes on this thorn bush. Aye, this is a fabulous, fabulous thorn bush, and it's got grapes on it. Isn't that wonderful? Nope. In the same way, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. Notice that even the bad tree has fruit. Story, welcome in, friend. Good to see you. So even a bad tree has fruit. It's not, even a rotten tree can also mean disease. Oh, a diseased tree. Ooh, I like that. You judge read this today? Whoa, cool. A good tree is not able to bear bad fruit, nor a bad tree able to bear good fruit. Okay, so let's just take this in the natural sense for a minute. We had figs and grapes, right? And he gave the example of figs and grapes. And figs aren't growing on thistles, and grapes aren't growing on the thorn bush, okay? And we all know that. So if you see someone's life is bearing bad fruit, they're a bad tree. And if someone is bearing good fruit, they're a good tree. There are your fruits. Watermelon cubes. There we go. So, what do I see in someone's life? Okay, this is one of those things where a lot of people want to have a checklist of, I'm a disciple, what does it look like? Am I doing these things? How do I measure these things? And I just want to go, what do I see in their life? What is the evidence of their life telling me? Is the evidence of their life showing that they are walking close with God and they are loving their neighbors and stuff? Are they loving God? Are they loving their neighbor? That's just my question. Like, what's their fruit? What are they producing? What are others around them producing? What am I seeing through them in other people? Or are they not loving God? Are they not loving their neighbor? And then, what a fruit is that? It's interesting. Your Bible says healthy tree and diseased tree instead of good and bad. Yeah. Yep. And the footnote said it could have been listed as diseased as well here. They didn't give a footnote on good. But we're in the New Testament, so I do not know the word for good and bad. But let's go ahead and look that up. Okay, let me just finish this and then we'll go look that up. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. This is what you're going to do. Like, I am not leaving apple trees up that don't have fruit on them. I mean, they're a waste of my time and space putting a new one in the ground. So then, you will recognize them by their fruit. Yeah, you just like word differences and word pictures that brings to mind. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. A healthy tree and a diseased tree. And this did say could be translated as disease. So what word do we have for good here in 17? Let's find that a minute. We got an ad break coming in, but I think we can get this before we do that. Every good. Agathos. Oh, okay. Okay, yes. Agathos. And corrupt. Sarpos. And then they went to evil. Panereos. Or Paneros. Oh, wait. So it's good. Kalos. Oh, wow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we're going to have to snooze here a minute. I got to dig this deeper. The word for good switches. The word for bad switches. Yeah, you just, yeah. It might be a version of the Bible. Yeah. Yeah, it probably is, but all of a sudden, finding here. Okay. Sarpos.
Strong's G 4550. Sapras.
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 Rotten, putrefied, corrupted by one, and no longer fit for use, worn out, to be poor, bad, unfit quality. So Matthew uses it 3 times. A corrupted tree. And then we have Kalos. Is that the right one? No, that's beautiful. Okay. Okay, there we go. It's this one. I want to connect the bad with bad.
Strong's G 4190. Paneras.
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 Okay. Bad or of bad nature or condition, diseased, evil. So the fruit is described as rotten and the tree described potentially as disease, but we can just translate them as both bad, or we could translate it evil. Well, I know we're talking in the physical sense of a tree, and the implication is of being evil, but I like disease a little bit better. We could even be of blind, even of blind. So a diseased tree is going to bring rotten fruit. And let's see, is this the Agathos?
Strong's G 18. Agathos.
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 Good condition or nature, useful, good, pleasant, excellent, upright, honorable, is going to bring Kalos.
Strong's G 2570. Kalos.
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 Beautiful, handsome, excellent, eminent, choice, surpassing, precious, useful, suitable, commendable, admirable, beautiful to look at, shapely, magnificent. I wonder which one of these two, and I'm feeling this one might be the one that would be the fruit was good for and it was pleasing to the eye, would be what I'm thinking there. Useful. So a useful tree produces beautiful fruit, and a diseased tree produces rotten fruit. That'd be one way of trying to bring out the nuance there. But can we go back to beautiful? I want to see where this is used. Matthew, bring forth. Does it? Yeah, here I want to know what the Old Testament references are in the LXX. God saw that it was good, and God. So this must be Tov then. I believe that's Tov. Yeah. So So it's tove fruit. Tove fruit. It is good fruit. Ooh. Nice. When is the agata? So it is tove. It is good. It is pleasing. Ah.
Oh, that's fun.
All right. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, you'll recognize them by their fruit. Like, that. Let me give a different way of saying this. If there's a person, and when they walk in the room, everybody's like, so and so's here. That probably is a person of bad fruit. It's probably a person of bad fruit. If they walk in the room and everyone's like, oh, look who's here. It's probably a person of good fruit. Probably a person of good fruit. Now, it might be, hey, that second person is Santa Claus and they brought gifts and they just are that kind of person. So maybe they're generous and loving. Okay, that's great. I'm not talking about, celebrity kind of thing or anything like that of getting excited. I'm saying people you actually know in your life. Like, does the person walk into the room and you go, I was just leaving. I'm so sorry. I'm going to miss seeing you, but I have to go now. Or were you actually leaving and that person shows up and you're like, oh, they're here. I don't want to go. I'm going to stick around. Yes, Santa. Yes. What kind of fruit do you have? What kind of fruit are you producing? So, okay. We got ad break coming in. So let's take a look at the fish and see how they're looking today. And we're going to end up with the promo for ReachCon, everybody.
Streamers, content creators, gamers, and cosplayers. Last year, ReachConf was an absolute blast. An in-real-life celebration where creators connected, impactful speakers inspired, gaming tourneys, on-stage shenanigans, and fantastic music kept the energy high. It was more than an event. It was a community coming together. Get ready for ReachConf 2025, happening November 6 to 8. All the best parts of gaming and creative culture will be there, live and in person. Last year, we hit capacity, and even with increased numbers this year, tickets are sure to sell fast. Don't miss your chance to be part of the ultimate IRL experience. Grab your tickets now and join the movement.
With his cam, he shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flat caps charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pasture shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. Refuse Cammy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow. Hear the music, gentle glow. Flat caps charm, calm in tone.
All right, we should be coming back from break if we're not already. Let me just see, is there anything else? Oh, no, yes. Luce is enjoying. Last, Amy, read a Bible joke. Okay. All right, we got a Bible joke coming in. By the way, ReachCon, I was just looking at it. Looks like we got 24 tickets sold. And when the code I have, so I know not everyone's going to go, and I know it's early to plan on it, okay? But you can use my code to go to Reach. And some of you may need to plan this early in order to make it there. I will be there at Reach Conference. And if you want to join the Discord, let me know, and I'll invite you over to the Discord of Reach, which is a whole bunch of creators, content creators who are gathered together, and it's people who are going to come to Reach Conference as well. So, anyway, the discount of $10 off the ticket, which tickets are $75, which is a great price for a conference. And all the stuff that you can do while at the conference, all the people you can meet up at the conference. Food is another $50 if you want to add all-inclusive food and snacks, and they had lots of snacks last year. That's another $50. So still even at $125, it's a great price. Yeah, it's early, but I was going to say is only the first 500 people get a discount. So I will keep that up to date. We got a ways to go before we need to worry about that, but the price will not change. The discount will go away if we sell more than 500 tickets. Okay. What is the smartest animal on the ark? What was the smartest animal on the ark? It's a really bad joke. It's a really bad joke. What is the smartest animal on the ark? Take some wild guesses. I'll even throw in the next one for you because I kind of like this one. You never know joke answers. Tell me. Well, I'm gonna give you a second one while people can still think about the first one. What keys did Noah take on the ark? What keys did Noah take on the ark? So we've got what is the smartest animal on the ark? And what keys did Noah take on the ark? Oh, a bonus joke. Yeah. I'll give you a little time. We'll give people some thought to answer here. I'll even share a little bit if I didn't share this earlier. So most of you know I've been talking about, and I need to get this updated in Discord, that I was interviewing with a church in New York. So I did a second interview with them on Monday. They got back to me on Saturday and said they are hiring someone else. I'm like, great. So I will not be moving to New York. It was only going to be a temporary move anyway, but I will not be moving anywhere. But that did get me thinking. That something I may look into doing, and my wife and I would both have capacity to do this. Hey, I'm watching. Welcome in. Good to see you. Is what if I were to take and go rent a house for a month? And go, the biggest thing would be making sure I have quality internet. And then otherwise, yeah, go rent a house for a month, stay someplace, maybe around other people that I know, from Twitch and other digital ministry spots, and go hang out on the weekends and meet up with people and then just do the streaming and working and all of that during the week. It would be fun. So we'll just have to see. So it won't be an immediate thing. Oh, thanks for the hug. Yeah, sorry to hear it didn't work out, but yeah, here with us still. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm fine with it didn't work out. I was beginning to think I have too much going on, and I wasn't going to be able to give them all of the time and energy they needed, and that's okay. So, all right, so back to our jokes. I'm going to give the answer for the first one, but I'll repeat the second one first so that people can still try to answer it. So what keys did Noah take on the ark? What keys did Noah take on the ark? Still time to answer that. The first one that no one answered. What was the smartest animal on the ark? What was the smartest animal on the ark? It was the snake, because nobody could pull its legs. The snake was the smartest animal because nobody could pull his legs. All right, so you have gotten 2 of the keys that Noah took on the ark. We've got monkeys, donkeys, and there's another key as well. Story. I see what it did there. Yes. The last one is the turkeys. He took monkeys, donkeys, and turkeys. There's one more joke on the page, but I'm covering it up so you can't see it. But I wanted to just show you the artwork. There's the artwork. Okay. We'll get through that book and we'll start over and you won't remember. Yes, good grief. Good grief. Yes. Okay. Oh, Moose is with the joke. Fine. Gonna finish the page now.
Okay. What had an elephant's trunk, a giraffe's head, a bird's beak, and a lion's mane? What had an elephant's trunk, a giraffe head, a bird's beak,
And a lion's mane. Peanuts know what life's about. Yes, the Noah's Ark. Exactly, I'm watching Noah's Ark. You need this book in your life. Yeah, that one's kind of bad after you do the other jokes that you know, hey, it's Noah's Ark. Well, yeah, I already know that because we're telling jokes about Noah, so maybe you should start with that in one. Where? Okay. There are more. There are more. It's a fun book. I think it's out of print, but you probably can still find it as used bookstores if you search online. Okay. Or if somebody is ambitious enough to go and clip all the jokes, and then we could put them in a collection of all of the jokes. You wonder if the person was secretly a biblical scholar. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know how many of those jokes existed before being put in the book either. So the editor failed to fix the order of their page. Yes, somewhat. Well, and the thing is they're jokes you can tell, and they're not assuming that you're going to just sit there and read the jokes necessarily to people. You're going to learn the jokes, and then you're going to tell them in whatever order you want, probably. Did you write the book? No, I didn't write the book. I got this book when I was a kid. It is Dwight Wallace. Or no, is that published or illustrated? So these are compiled by Myra Schaffner. So it's just so they may not have wrote them. They just compiled the jokes. I think you'd be more by heart than the actual author. Yes. Do you have enough time to do a Try Not to Laugh Christian edition vid today? If so, you have a fun one. I could try that. I've never tried a Try Not to Laugh Christian edition. I don't usually try to do those kinds of things, but I do have time to do that today. I'm watching, so today would be a good day to do that. Today would be a good day to do that. I'm gonna open it, and you can do that later. Okay, continuing on with, so we are not judging others, and we have fruit that is going to show us what is going on in someone's life. And now he's going to go a step further. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. Okay, what is this? The double use of the vocative is normally used in situations of high emotion or emphasis. Even an emphatic confession like the one without corresponding action means little. So I am desperate for my life, and I cry out to God in heaven, but then I go back to doing my old life. Yeah, okay. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do many powerful deeds in your name? Then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Go away from me, you lawbreakers. Did we not in your name prophesy, and in your name cast out demons, and in your name do powerful deeds? The phrase "in your name" occurs here before each verb in the Greek text, making it somewhat emphatic, but the phrase was placed after the verbs in the translation for stylistic reasons. So it sounds better in English to have it the other way, but the emphasis was showing it in the Greek by doing it the other way around. So it's not enough to let me get dangerous here with a few of you, or a few of you watching the VODs, or a few of the lurkers. It's not enough to profess Jesus. It's not enough, and it's not enough to go do things. Okay, like we do these things in your name. We were all doing this in your name. We were doing all these things. You need to know. You need to know Jesus. You need to know the Father. It's not just about doing the right thing. Whoo. So I can go do the right thing, and I can go condemn other people who aren't doing the right thing. Squirrel. And it's not enough. No, it's not. And I'm going to consider you to be a lawbreaker because I don't know you. I don't know you. Let me just see what word it is. I never knew you, so let me just look up the word. Okay, we are verse 23. Verse 23. I never knew. I know what this would be in the gnosko. Should have known that one.
Strong's G 1097. Gnosko.
Okay. To learn, to know, to come to know, to become known, to know, to understand, perceive, to understand. Oh, yes. This is, oh, good. Sexual intercourse between a man and woman. Okay, that's not the part that means good. So this is experiential knowledge. That's why yes. And knew her till she had brought forth a son, her firstborn. You knew her not. So, this is experiential knowledge. So, let me just see what the Old Testament, this should give me yada in the Old Testament then. Yeah, here, this is the one I'm going to look up. The knowing his wife. Yada. So, if you've ever watched Seinfeld, by the way, this is one of the most hilarious things to me.
Strong's H 3045. Yada.
Okay. But look how it looks. Yada. You know. And you skip part of the story. So, Adam and Eve were both in the garden. They were both naked and not ashamed. Yada. Cain and Abel. But yada is experiential knowledge. It is the knowledge that comes from relationship, of experience, of time together. So, while you might be out busy doing all of the work of ministry and proclaiming things in Jesus' name, do you even know him? Are you just doing things, or are you in relationship? So here we have one where it's about relationship and not about doing the things. And earlier we had people doing the things to be praised by men. I think we still have the same circumstance here. Like, hey, we did all the things we were supposed to. We were doing it. We're still going back to the I'm doing it to be praised by other people. I did all the right stuff. I went to church every Sunday. I wore my Sunday best. I gave a tithe. Just pull out the list you want to proclaim that you can say you did. Where was the love in that? Where was the relationship in that? Where was the heart after God? Where is the loving God? Where is the loving your neighbor? The practice isn't about the practice. It's about the relationship. Okay. Everyone
who hears these words of mine and does them is like a wise man. Okay, here's these words of mine all the way back through Matthew 5, where it is the Beatitudes, where it is blessed are those who are poor, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are those who, and then you're supposed to be salt and light. You are supposed to be salt and light. And if you aren't, you're worthless. And you're supposed to be known by your fruit. And if you have rotten fruit, you're a rotten tree. You're a diseased tree. And if you have good fruit, you're a good tree. You can't have good fruit and be a rotten person. Okay? Just the same way that grapes don't grow on thorn bushes. So we've got all of that going on all the way through here, how we treat other people, and we don't just do what they do to us. Like, I can hate my brother and be angry at my brother so long as I don't kill him. So Jesus is like, no, you got to do more. So now he's like, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on a rock. Oh, that sounds like a good plan. Sounds like a good plan. Mr. Juanito, afternoon. Hope everyone is well. We are doing well, or I am doing well. Thank you for coming in. Good to see you again, friend. So, we like to tell this story, and we like the little song, and we need to remember this is a summary of everything that Jesus has said. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain fell, the flood came, the winds beat against the house, but it did not collapse because its foundation was laid on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain fell, the flood came, the winds beat against the house, and it collapsed. It was utterly destroyed. When Jesus finished saying these things, the crowd was amazed by his teaching because he taught them like one who had authority, not like their experts in the law. Okay, let me finish the story here. So Jesus has been teaching. He's got all of these things from Matthew 5, Matthew 6, Matthew 7 on how we are to live, how we are to be light, how we are called to live differently than the world, how we need to follow the loving your neighbor as yourself path instead of the self-centered, self-seeking, selfish path, the doing good deeds to people that don't deserve it path, the loving your enemies, the praying for those that persecuted path, the doing the opposite path that the world does things, of what good advice is going to tell you to do. The doing that rare thing that most people won't do. And he says, don't just hear these things. Don't just recite these things. Don't just be able to spout off the good wisdom he shared with you. Do it. Only by practice does it make any sense. And then he gives the example of the song, The Wise Man Built His House Upon the Rock. If you know the song, the tune is still the same. I can sing about anything, and the rains came tumbling down. So, anyway, but when he finishes the whole thing, people are amazed because he taught them as one who had authority, not like one who was an expert in the law. So a rabbi would get passed on what their teacher had taught them, and they would pass that on. And that is not their own authority. That is the authority they have from the person they learned from. But once you are able to introduce new teachings in a new way, you have one who has authority, not a teacher who's an expert in the law. I just tell you what the law says. I tell you what Hillel has said. I tell you what Shammai has said. I utter the teaching of my teacher. He has now, in their eyes, been established as one who is able to utter new teachings and new understandings of the Torah, not like everyone else. Let me see if they have anything of that. Samarella, hey, Pastor, when you get some break, you'd like to share an update with you guys. Well, go ahead, because we're just finishing Chapter 7. Before we go into Chapter 8, it'll be a perfect time to share that. Good to see you, friend. Jesus' teaching impressed the hearers that directness of its claim. He taught with authority. A study of Jewish rabbinic interpretation shows that this was typically to cite a list of authorities
to make one's point. Jesus used the issue directly in terms of his own understanding. Okay, yeah, so without citing other teachers. He's not citing all the other teachers. He is able to do this. Everyone else cites someone else. They're not an expert. Okay, Samarella. Surgery's been confirmed and fixed. One and Wednesday, and the other one at Thursday, based on which the final surgery will be confirmed. For now, it's been confirmed that the tumor is 60% cancerous, and it's still be risky going with the third surgery. For now, you can either go with both the surgery and risk having relapse of your cancer, or just skip it and willing to face the risk. Okay, so am I clear that you're having one surgery on Wednesday and another on Thursday, and then a final surgery will be confirmed for a later date? So it's the third surgery that would be the risky one. Is that am I understanding right, Samarella? Just gonna peek over here a minute on my that looks good. That looks good. That's not what I'm looking. Oh, that's what I'm. Nope, that's not it. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, we'll do that one more time, and then I can cancel that. Yeah, that's the update. The third one will be the risky one, as the tumor is near the heart. So the first couple will not be as risky. And are they back to back in 2 days? And then will you wait a period of time before the third one, and then you'd have a decision to make? Am I correct in the whole process there? You can clarify that for me, but we'll pray for you. God, we're just lifting up Samarella. Cancer and in any disease that is, anytime we require surgery, there are risks, there is anxiety, there is fear, there is unknown, and we're just praying for your peace to be upon Samarella, that you will just surround her with your loving arms, that as decisions are made on the surgeries and on the follow-up surgeries, that you will just be with her, that you will guide her heart and mind. You will be with the surgeons and the skills that they have and the knowledge they have, that you will just be with them and guide their hands. You will give them the rest they need, that all who are there in the operating room will be at their very best at that time, that you'll be with the nurses, the anesthesia, everything that's going on. And then you'll be with her body. You'll be with her heart. You'll be with her mind. You'll be with her spirit, that she'll be free of anxiety, free of fear, knowing your presence, knowing that she is in your hands. And God, we pray for healing in her body, that you may use whatever methods the doctors are prescribing with surgery and anything else that might follow, even to the third surgery. And we pray that you also will heal her in a miraculous way, that her body will be able to fight against what's going on, that you will just be with her, make your presence known, and along the way that she will have opportunities to share her faith in you, that she will be able to know your presence, and that you will just be with her and her whole family as they journey through this. God, as friends, we are journeying through this with Samarella. We are lifting her up in prayer, asking you to bind her up, to bring healing, to bring comfort, to bring peace. Give Samarella everything she is in need of for today. We pray for not only the healing that's coming, but we pray for all financial circumstances that go along with this, and for recovery. God, we ask this and we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Samarella. I appreciate the update. So Wednesday and Thursday, is that this week that those will be? I just want to keep that in mind, so I will be praying for you when those surgeries are happening. So we can get back to the Bible, and we're gonna finally leave the Sermon on the Mount. One of the things
Like, if you're not sure what to study in Scripture, like the Sermon on the Mount is fantastic. Like, if you don't know how you should act, how you should live, what you should do, just go and study the Sermon on the Mount. I mean, there is really nothing better than you can study, and you're studying Jesus' words, and the best collection of them that's out there. There are still a whole bunch of nuance of the Sermon on the Mount that I'm still amazed at. I'm still going, okay, what's the deeper hidden thing in here? What's the deeper level? Like I said, I think there's a chiasm potentially in there that's hidden. There's good stuff going on there. You've got food and you're prepping food, so you can't type I'm watching. No problem, friend. All right. So, Samarella, so glad you're here. I appreciate you, friend. Financial thing will be the huge thing. It's pulling up a lot lately with all the treatment and piling up stuff, but luckily insurance is helping me with a lot of things. Good. If it does become something that you need assistance with, Samarella, let me know. We do pass the cap around here for people that have needs, and we've done this before with people that have financial needs related to healthcare and or other things. So we certainly could do that and would love to do that for you. Right now, we're just passing the cap for my prayer booth. That's kind of the default one, unless someone else has one that they know of, and please share those with me. So let us know, Samarella, when you get to the end of things, or if there's a time, and sometimes this happens, where you need money up front before they'll do certain things. So let us know. I'd love to help in any way if I can with that. Samarella, I get that. Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. If more to the idea of if you end up doing and have that need, and well, put it this way, Samarella. I think that when I read through the book of Acts, when it says they shared everything in common and they gave to those that have need, this is what I think of. Like, we are here together in common as friends of the stream and each other, and following after Jesus, even if you're a believer or not, wherever you are in that walk. And so we give to those who have need as we're able to. So in that regard, it's not a bother. If I thought it was a bother, I'd have a real hard time asking anyone to help, put a prayer booth in my community when the chances of you ever coming and seeing it are very small, So, but I was going to say, if you do get to the point of you do need to do a GoFundMe or some other funding for that, please let me know, because I will absolutely share that. All right. So we finished the Sermon on the Mount, and now we're moving into Jesus doing something else. You can't say you're fully a believer nor a non-believer. Totally. That's what I'm saying. This I just say, wherever you are with your walk with Christ, wherever you are in following after God. I mean, I think faith is a journey, and it is something that we struggle with. It is something we wrestle with. I didn't get to finish this movie, but I loved Conclave. Conclave is what it was. So it's talking about what happens when you need to choose a new pope, that kind of thing. I don't know if it's actually based on a specific real life situation or not, but one of the people who ends up leading the conclave had tried to resign from his position because he had doubts, and the previous pope would not accept his resignation. He is a cardinal in the Catholic Church. Wouldn't accept his resignation, said, no, the fact you have doubts is a good thing. See, I think one of the things that we misunderstand, and I think the church tells us this, is we need to believe we believe everything at 100%. And then we have to have no wavering in our faith. But the one father tells Jesus, I believe, but help my unbelief. We both simultaneously have faith and doubt at the same time. I do not think that faith is the absence of doubt. Faith is the certainty of the one that we're trusting in. Doubts do not go away because I have faith. Doubts just become smaller in comparison to my level of faith. And then my understanding of things needs to continue to grow. If I were at the end, I would have no reason to ever read the Bible again. If I were at the end, if I had 100% faith, why would I need to read the Bible? I know everything. I'm not wrestling with anything. I have no doubt. I got it all right. I don't need to read it. Unless I'm reading it to beat up other people that don't have it the way that I have it. That'd be the only reason. So, Samarella, for now, I'm seeking help through my personal insurance through St. Jude. Oh, cool. St. Jude. That's awesome. And from your sister, mostly from your sister, and bothering her a lot already. So I don't like to put things on others as well. I totally get that, Samarella. I do not like to ask other people for money. I am for myself, I'm much more inclined to raise money for someone else, for some other cause, than to raise money for myself. But sometimes we need to let our needs be known, and then we just see if God moves in other people's hearts. And if they do, great. And if they don't, that's fine too. And there's three different, this is kind of a cool way. 3 different ways we can come alongside of you, Samarella. You already mentioned one. One is we can come alongside of you with prayer. 2 is we could come alongside of you financially. And you said you don't need that. And third is we can be someone that connects you with other people. So I don't know if right now you need any connection with other people, but if you needed something specific along the ways, we might be able to connect you with other people. Or, if you were financially raising it, we could connect you with other people. If we need to expand the prayer circle, I can bring your prayer to another prayer circle. So those kinds of things. You feel so bad for just seeking financial help from someone, Pastor. It just feels so helpless, lazy, and selfish, to be honest. It's my health, and you should be the one taking care of it, right? Well, one of the things, however, though, is you didn't, with cancer, what did you do to cause yourself to get cancer? So how would you be the one that needs to pay for it, necessarily? Or if someone gets the flu, what did you do of negligence to get the flu? So, and we also, I would say, we don't have, depending on where everyone is, but I would say even despite where you are, none of us has the perfect health system that covers everything and is universally available to everyone else. So, yeah, we can help one another. All I can say is it's your fault for getting it in the first place. It's not your fault for getting it in the first place. No. It's not your fault you got cancer. How would it be your fault? What did you do? I definitely don't think that it's your fault for getting cancer. So connect, how, if you may ask? So, for instance, one of those ways to connect might be if you were looking for something specific, Samarella, in regards to, like you mentioned, St. Jude's. Well, if you needed a place to stay while you were doing things, or if, for instance, if family needed to stay by you when you were close to getting your surgery, there's places like Ronald McDonald House that do that. My wife, when she donated her kidney, needed a place to recover outside of the hospital for a week. There's a place that does that for low cost lets you stay there if you are organ donors, because the person receiving the donation gets to stay in the hospital. So there's places like that. So I may connect you if you have a need, and I know your need. I can connect you to a resource with that kind of a need, is the kind of thing. Or if you wanted a prayer support group, or you wanted whatever type of cancer group, and I knew support. So that's what I mean by I could connect you if I know what you need, not only praying for the need, but connecting you with someone that can help. Yeah, ukulele. No, it is not. It isn't.
Nobody causes cancer. Even people with smoking and get lung cancer don't deserve to be told it's their fault. I agree with that. Yeah, even if you did something that contributed risk to it, like for instance, people now that are in their 60s, when they were a kid, weren't told the health risks of smoking, and if they became addictive, how could they have known? I mean, there's lots of things like that. You don't want to get into the details of it if you don't feel comfortable. Oh, yeah. No. I'm not saying you needed to, but I was saying if you shared a detail and I knew of someone who could help, I could connect you to someone who could help. That's what I mean by connecting. And if you don't feel comfortable, I am not asking you to. So, ukulele, I can't smoke, and in a way, it is my fault. We're still going to disagree on whether it's your fault or not, Samarella. We don't feel like it's your fault, and you don't need to share any more with us to that. We're just going to disagree on that. From our perspective, anyone's health is, you may be a contributor to it in some way, but that doesn't mean that it is all your fault or in any way fully your fault. I will even go as so far as people who have who are diabetic. It is not their fault from this perspective. The food that is cheapest and most available to them is the least healthy for them and filled with the most sugar. And throughout the last 50 years, our food system has been being infiltrated by things that are not natural and that are not healthy for us and not beneficial to us, but get us to consume more food. And our portion sizes have gone larger and all kinds of other things that we do not even know the impact of, like pesticides and herbicides that are on our health, or what we would consider healthy foods that are in our system, plus microplastics that are in our system. So what did I contribute to those things? As a society, we are responsible for all of those things that we have done to the health of everyone. So from that standpoint, that's part of what I'm talking about, because you didn't set out to do that. And I'm not even saying that others set out to do that. In all of those cases, some were just trying to make something cheaper or nicer or whatever. But then it goes too far. Ukulele. But also plenty of people could do the same thing, live the same lifestyle, and not contract the same diseases, or not to the same extent. Yeah. Samuel, I can say I trusted few people, a huge mistake that contributed to it. You cause to be sick mentally and physically depleted, and you cause them to be arrested too. Yeah, it caused you to be sick mentally and physically depleted, and caused them to be arrested too. Yeah. And Samuel, we're not asking you to share everything. We are just sharing our hearts with you, that we want to love you. We want to pray for you wherever you are. We care about you. And I mean, wherever you are, you talked about your faith, wherever you are in your faith walk. And I don't need to know all of what happened to you. We're still going to care about you. And if you share, we'll still feel the same way. At least I will. All right. Thank you, Samarella, for the update. If you want to share more, that's up to you. If you want to just lurk, you want to join in the conversation with Matthew 8, all good with that. So we're going to switch over to Matthew 8. We got the leper, healing of the centurion, healing at Peter's house. Oh, we're going to go through a series of healings. Ooh, okay. I don't think we're going to get through all of the healings that we have here, but let's get at least through a couple of these and see how far we get. Oh, you know what? There's also, it's not going to be in this section, I don't think, but there is, Jesus is healing with the man who was born blind, and his disciples are asking the question, who sinned? Did he sin, or his parents sin that he was born blind? And so the general attitude of the day was that disease was caused by sin. And Jesus confronts that idea that disease was caused by sin in that passage. And he says, neither
the man nor his parents sinned. Neither the man who was born blind nor his parents sinned. But in this, God is going to be glorified. Why? Because Jesus is now going to heal him. Jesus is now going to heal him. I don't think it is and some will read it as, see, God caused him to be born blind so that God could heal him later. And I'm like, yeah, I don't quite want to go that. I just want to go in from the standpoint of there was not sin involved in the cause of this, but now God is going to receive glory and this man is going to be healed. So I don't think that sin is the cause of disease. Sin is the cause of health problems. I just don't think that's how God operates. That sounds more like a Santa list. He's making a lick, checking it twice, going to find out who's naughty or nice, and if you're naughty, you get coal. Well, if you're naughty, you get bad health, and if you are good, you get good health. That is not how God is. Okay, so we have Jesus up on the mountain, Sermon on the Mount. This is like Moses in the giving of the law. Jesus is on the mountain giving new instructions that people haven't heard. He's coming down from the mountain. If it's not that I don't want to hide things from you, Pastor. Oh, I know that. You, Ukulele Mother Goose, are always been a huge blessing to me to still survive and get to every day. It's just I don't want to make things heavy here. Totally understand that, Samarella, and I respect that. I totally understand and respect. And you are always the one in charge of that. I will never try to get you to share something you don't want to. I think you're over in the Discord. If not, you can always DM if there is something you want me to know. So no, I don't feel like you're necessarily. I definitely don't feel like you're just trying to hide something. I get that everything. Let me put it this way, and I say this often. Thank you for sharing and trusting us with what you did share. Okay, because what you did share took a lot for you to be able to share, Samarella, and I still so appreciate everything that you feel safe to share. That means we've done a good job in my community. Ukulele's done a good job in her community. Mother Goose has done a good job in her community of creating safe places for people to be able to share and feel safe. And that's what I want. And I'm so thankful for you, every one of you in the community, that you are that way for everyone. So I definitely want to keep it that way, Samarella. Okay, so after he came down from the mountain, large crowds followed him. So apparently, even though it said he sat down and taught his disciples, and there was a large crowd, that the large crowd heard everything. Oh, yeah. And then the large crowd had said, no one teaches like this. So even though he's teaching his disciples, everyone else is able to hear him. He's coming down. The crowd is not leaving him alone. A leper approached and bowed low before him, saying, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. So the issue with a leper is not sin, it is cleanliness. A leper is unclean, meaning he's in a state or she's in a state that she cannot or he cannot go into the temple and worship God. They cannot go into society. So it's out here in the outskirts, wherever the mountain is. We don't know which mountain this is. He says, you can make me clean. He stretched out his hand and touched him, saying, I am willing, be clean. Immediately his leprosy was cleansed. Then Jesus said to him, see that you do not speak to anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and bring the offering that Moses commanded as a testimony to them. Okay. So we'd have to go back in Leviticus. We'd have to go look up all of the stuff of what you need to do. As Moses commanded, Leviticus 14. This is the law of diseased person on the day of his purification when he is brought to the priest. The priest is to go outside the camp, outside the camp. Examine the infection. If the infection of the diseased person has healed, then the priest will command the 2 live clean birds, a piece of cedar wood, a scrap of crimson fabric, and some twigs of hyssop be taken up from the one being cleansed. The priest will then command the one bird be slaughtered in a clay vessel over fresh water. Then he is to take the live bird with the piece of cedar wood, the scrap of crimson fabric, and the twig of hyssop, and he is to dip them and the live bird in the blood of the bird slaughtered over the fresh water, and sprinkle it 7 times, number of totality of completeness, on the one being cleansed from disease. Pronounce him clean and send the live bird away over the open countryside. The one being cleansed must then be washed, his clothes, shave off all his hair, and bathe in water, and so be clean. Then afterward he may enter the camp, but he must live on the outside of his tent 7 days. When the 7th day has come, he must shave off his hair, his head, his beard, and his eyebrows. Yes, even his eyebrows, all his hair. And he must wash his clothes, bathe his body in water, and so be cleaned. On the 8th day, he must take 2 flawless male lambs, flawless yearling female lamb. So 2 males, 1 female, 3/10 of an ephah of choice wheat flour as a grain offering, mixed with olive oil, 1 log of olive oil, and the priest will pronounce him clean. Will have the man who is being cleansed stand along with those offering before the Lord at the entrance of meeting of the tent. The priest is to take 1 male and present it as a gift offering with the log of olive oil, and present them as a wave offering. If you don't know the wave offering, that's what you're doing. You're waving it before God. He must then slaughter the male lamb in the place where the sin offering and the burnt offering are slaughtered in the sanctuary, because like the sin offering, the guilt offering belongs to the priest. It is most holy. Then the priest, look at how long this is, okay? Oh, Samarella, this would be ritual bathing, but also this is a desert environment, so bathing every 7 days would not be a normal practice. Even bathing once a week may not have been a normal practice because of the value of water. Modern bathing ideas were not in play. So there may be another one, but at least we had 3 pronouncements of it. So we have pronouncement at the beginning, and then he can go. He's got to bathe and shave at the beginning. 7 days later, bathe and shave again. Then the next day, have this ceremony of blood cleansing upon him and offerings that are brought. So, why is Jesus saying, go speak to no one? Because go do the thing you're supposed to do. Don't stop along the way and tell anybody about what happened to you. Go and do this. Oh, where Jesus is living, where the people are living, is a desert environment. For the Just going to see if it would tell me all the names of deserts here. Not desert like the idea of Sahara Desert, okay? But desert like the southwest of the U.S. is a desert. But climate. Okay, let me go back. This is just under Google Maps. I don't want Google Maps. I want image of maps. Come on. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Well, okay, the Leviticus would have been before that. But the climate isn't going to change. Okay. That. Okay, I just wanted a map.
Not the article. And I can't see it good enough. Let me just go to images. Maybe that'll work. Okay, so we've got warm Mediterranean climate along the Mediterranean, and then we have semi-arid climate, and then down here we have desert climate. So like the desert where they are wandering in the wilderness when Moses is giving the law is going to be very little in forest, and then most of it is semi-arid, which means they do not get much rainfall. Only along the coast do they get a lot of rainfall. And so, let's see what this one. The other thing, Israel, pasture. It's a good question, by the way. So there is pasture where you're bringing your sheep, okay? It's not just totally grass. I mean, I know this one here is grass in images, but there's where also you're grazing your sheep. It's not going to get in all areas a lot of rain, but you can see there are some areas right next to it where the grass does grow more. So even some of these are really, really brown. Some are green. They're going to grow green when it just rains. So we got some pictures of that. So this is going to be the semi-arid. Along the coast is going to be more green, but where there's more green, they're actually also going to do more. So from the standpoint of it is not water abundant, they are not going to be bathing on a regular basis. So then if you're an outcast of society, you're starting with the bath, but you may have not have had a bath in who knows how long. So, yes. So, it's written, Leviticus is written while they are in the desert, wandering in the desert for 40 years. So, there it totally is desert. When you get to Jerusalem, there's more access to water, but he's an outcast outside of it. You would have the Jordan River that you could go and bathe in, but you also could bring water from there to bathe in your house. Our hygiene practices are different than theirs. Oh, Johnny Darko, welcome in. Morning, morning. I'm confused with it because up till early Christian era or CE, we had Younger Dryas period, and only desert region or desert like is Western and Central Africa and Eastern Asia. That's why it's confusing you. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't mean to confuse you by thinking Sahara Desert, that is just a barren sand place. Like they refer to those areas as wilderness or desert, and maybe wilderness is a better way, but low rainfall in those areas. So you're not going to, well, even in the Middle East today, you're not going to have a lot of people that are going to take baths on a weekly basis. When one of my friends and relatives have gone over there with military, those are not the common practices. You're also worried about sweating off the water and the moisture that you have, and water is of a high value. So they don't have a lot of those, but maybe they had more public baths, which wouldn't have been a Jewish practice, though. Only ritual baths would have been a thing. Johnny doing well. Got a new puppy, and that's been taking a lot of your time lately. He goes out about 87 times a day. Wow.
Did that help clear it up, the pictures and whatnot, Samarella, or not? So my use of desert may have confused you if you are being more specific on, but I'm thinking it's a semi-arid, not a lot of rainfall type of desert. As per archaeological evidence, both Sahara and places in and around Jerusalem and Bethlehem were lush green with most sophisticated irrigation system. In certain places, yes, but you don't irrigate every place. So also, you know what? The time frame when Leviticus was written and where they were actually at, we debate that. And so that is going to be, depending on how you see it, 1300 or to 1700 BCE. And we do know of irrigation projects like, is it King Josiah? I can't remember which king it is. No, Hezekiah. Hezekiah's tunnel to bring water into Jerusalem. So there certainly is that. But you also have very dry times, even if you do have rainy times. So anyway, the leper is going to go and cleanse ritually because they are outcast from society. They're not able to be in society. They're not able to worship in the temple. They go and do that. And then they shave. And then they get checked again. So they got to live outside their house. They can't go in their house, but they get to live outside of it, which is a big step because they've been outside of the camp. Okay, they have had to be outside of society. Now they can at least be in society, but they can't be in the house. Then they shave everything again. They wash again. Then the next day, they get the ceremony of coming back into community. So they get the ceremony of coming back into community, and along the way, they get the declaration of they are clean. And so Jesus uses the declaration of being clean as the thing that cleans the leper. He also stretches out his hand and touches him. Now, if Jesus reaches out his hand and he touches the unclean man, it would have made Jesus ceremonially unclean. However, in the instance he touches him and he says to him, be clean, the man becomes clean. So the cleanliness of Jesus makes the man clean instead of the uncleanness of the man making Jesus clean. No one would want to touch this man. They would become ceremonial unclean until the end of the day, I believe is what it was. And couldn't go do certain things, couldn't go certain places. And as a rabbi, that would mean nobody is around him and those kinds of things. But he doesn't, he reverses it is the way I'm getting at it. He reverses that. And then he tells him to go do the things that he's supposed to do. You can't imagine shaving as a leper. Meme heels, yeah. Well, and it was interesting, too. It did talk about shaving your eyebrows, too. We even had the evidence of the mountain mentioned in the Bible, and as per biblical texts that mention a place that has a place with 3 of the land and 2 of the water-facing mountains at one side, and also named as Fantasyland of Atlantis, but very recent evidence, I think, by the late 2010s shows Eye of Sahara with same representation. Yeah, and there's archaeology that does show evidence towards stuff, and then you've got it's hard to stay up on all the archaeology that happens, and then what people will recognize as corroborating or being connected with, and when you don't have enough evidence, you have some but not conclusive evidence. Samarella, yeah,
I do try to stay up on some of those things, but it is hard to keep up with all of those. So, Big Davy B. Good morning. In Turkey, many places are named after Noah. I did not know that. Interesting. Interesting. In Saudi Arabia and the Sinai Peninsula, several places are named after Moses. So, interesting. Okay. So, Jesus heals a leper which should not be touched by biblical standards, by Levitical standards. He does anyway, but the man doesn't remain unclean. Therefore, Jesus does not become contaminated with uncleanness, but the man then needs to go and follow the proper procedures of restoration to society. Samuel, I don't want to confuse anyone or sound like I'm debating against belief, but it's just I'm not sure why they're trying to hide so many things. Oh, yeah, I'll always say, Samarella, investigate for yourself. Investigate for yourself. Don't just take my word for it when I'm sharing something. And that's why I was mentioning when, Moses came out of Egypt, there's debate over what time frame he came out of Egypt and who the Pharaoh was, and there's not certainty. And then when you place them in Egypt or where they were in Egypt changes all of that stuff. And then there's different, there's a lot. So nope, I totally get what you're trying to share. Okay, we got ad break coming in here. So we'll let the ad break roll. And if you want to check out ReachCon, here's some information on ReachCon.
Attention streamers, content creators, gamers, and cosplayers. Last year, ReachConf was an absolute blast. An in-real-life celebration where creators connected, impactful speakers inspired, gaming tourneys, on-stage shenanigans, and fantastic music kept the energy high. It was more than an event. It was a community coming together. Get ready for ReachConf 2025, happening November 6th to 8. All the best parts of gaming and creative culture will be there, live and in person.
The creation being literal 6 days,
and even
some
with
people
increased
will
numbers
hold
this
that
year,
it's not
tickets
literal,
are
and
sure
some
to
will
sell
hold to a
fast.
literal global
Don't miss your
flood,
chance
and
to be
some will
part
not
of the
hold-
ultimate
they'll
IRL
hold to a regional
experience.
flood.
Grab your
And I
tickets
think there's
now
room for
and
all of
join the
all of
movement.
us, in that. So I appreciate the grace there, Samarella. Saint Bear! I love this so much. If Jesus' healing ministry has more to do with restoring them to community than the healing itself. Yeah, absolutely, Saint Bear. In the regards to, I don't know if the ad break has come in yet or not, so I'll just come back to that.
Flatcap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat Cat Pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. Refuse Candy shows it all. Little fish, both big and small. Life in ponds so serene. Nature's beauty on a screen.
You don't see an ad? All right, I got it telling me there's 10 seconds left on the ad break, Saint Bear, so.
Hear the music, gentle glow. Flat Cap's charm.
All right, says we're back. And maybe I don't know. I can never figure it out. Yeah, if you've got Turbo, I think it's Turbo, then you won't see ads. So, but yeah, part of this cleansing in particular is restoration to society, because
being a leper means you are outcast from society. This will also apply with the woman who has the bleeding. She is also outcast from the temple. She cannot go to worship. She cannot go in the temple because she is unclean. And this is ceremonial uncleanness along with the leper. So you are an outcast from society, and it's about restoration to society, being welcomed back in is part of the cleansing that's going on in this one. It's not about sin. It's about you aren't able to be in the community. You have to be outside the community. And as Jesus is going along, this man wants to be clean and says, if you are willing, and Jesus is willing. So, Samarella, one such thing you had to talk about a few weeks back is what the Bible says about LGBTQ as a sin, and marriage should only be between male and female, but all you could see, the Bible talks only about relationship between two people and specifically mention about any sexuality. Yeah, Samarella. So when we come to that topic, Christians debate, and Christians are taking different sides of that. So depends on where you are and how you view certain things, what you are going to read into it. What's really, I think, on some level, dishonest on some people is to claim that marriage is only to be between a man and a woman, and then there are examples of polygamy. But they say, oh, but that we don't want that. Okay, but it's still there, and you need to deal with that issue as well that maybe you're not dealing with. So, oh, yeah, Samuel, I was not making any assumptions there about your addressing it. You're not homophobic or anything, but the labeling of sexuality is non-existent. But it was indeed practiced. My question is always about how it mentions specifically about certain sexuality. Yeah, and one of the things, too, is I don't think the Bible is addressing every different thing that we might face currently. Big Dave, if you're asking me, I'm saying the Bible does not make or does not show exclusively that marriage is between a man and a woman. Now, you want to go to Genesis and go to Jesus, and where Jesus says this is why a man, clings to, leaves his father and mother and clings to his wife, and the two become one flesh. I don't have any problem with you applying or appealing to that. What I'm saying is you still need to deal with polygamy. That's what I'm saying. And polygamy is not one man and one wife. It is often one man and multiple wives. And we still call that marriage. So that was what I was talking about. So we also have, you know what? Actually, I have a book that I just got that I'm going to be reading in regards to on the topic. I don't talk about it too much. I am not trying to tell anyone where they should be in regards to those things. Nor do I think that the church should tell society what it should think about those things. And that might be different than a lot of other people think. I think within the community of Christians where you are, if you're in a Christian community, then you are going to have the standard that you're going to live by when you're in that community. The same way, I don't expect everyone to go around with a flat cap. I am not going to expect everyone to believe everything that I believe or believe the things the same way I believe. But I do hope that we all see Jesus and are trying to pursue him in whatever way we can. And even if it's just hanging out with us and you're like, yeah, I just don't know about this Jesus thing, that's fine. Still, I'm watching. I'm back. Had to throw stuff out and wash hands. Hope that wasn't your breakfast you had to throw out. Okay. When, Samarella, in a few biblical scriptures, oh, that's 10:02. In a few biblical scriptures like King James Version and stuff, it is mentioned as a man and a woman claiming it to be completing the circle of immorality of humans like species to be in existence. Also, only marriages were in existence during other marriages were in existence during early period. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning too. There's others. Oh, okay. I don't know if you're referring to Genesis 6 there or not, but yeah. Yep, Big Dave. I'm not. Yeah, that's what I was pointing at. Yeah. That's the passage that Genesis lays out, and that's the passage that Jesus quotes. All I was pointing out is there's still polygamy in Scripture. So Abraham has a concubine. Jacob has 2 wives and 2 concubines. David, who is a man after God's own heart, has multiple wives. So that was what I was saying, is trying to simply say Abraham also married his sister. Yes. Oh, yes, prayer time. Thank you, Lucis. Thank you for reminding me. So at 10:02 every day, those of us at the Church Digital are pausing to pray for workers for the harvest. So Luke 10:2 says, and he was saying to them, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send laborers into his harvest. So, Lucis, if you had something else, please let me know, or if you were just reminding me because the timer went off. So, Davey, part of my point is I don't want to just make a claim without acknowledging other stuff. That's what I'm getting at. Does it ever say that God blesses the polygamy or leads people into it? There are lots of things people in the Bible do that is not God's will. So just because something is done by one of God's people doesn't mean it's right. Oh, that's correct that it doesn't. But I don't see where that says anything about blessing marriage at all. That just because it says this is what happened even in Genesis, therefore a man shall do this. Did it even say that God blessed it? It just says there'll be one flesh. It just is. It's not a statement of blessing or a statement of endorsing. It states it as this is what is. You're still trying to understand it. Yeah. And I got to thank Big Davey for sharing it, because along with that, there is another 2 scripts that is still not been able to understand. Not sure if it is due to loss of transcripts or them hiding it from us. All right, let's pray for workers for the harvest. God, we are just pausing, and our hope is by the end of the year that at 10:02 in every time zone, in the 24 time zone, someone will be praying for you, praying to you, just saying, God, the harvest is plentiful. In digital space, there are lots of people who are far away from you. There is lots of darkness in the digital world, and we want to be salt and light. And so, God, we're praying for workers for the harvest, that you keep raising them up, sending them out, that there are more people who love you and want to love their neighbor as themselves. So send out workers, help them find courage, help them find strength, help them find everything they're in need of for today, and to be a blessing to those around them. God, we praise you and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Hey, one reason. Welcome in, friend. Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. Hiding the truth. You're confused again? Okay. There are different ways of phrasing things, Samarello. So if it was the permissive will that was confusing you, different Christians will use different language to talk about what is God's ideal, his plan, and what he permits and allows. So they'll talk about one as his divine will and another as a permissive will. Maybe it's not divine will, depends on what phrase you use. So it's the things that God would like or would want, his standard, and then things that he does, in fact, allow to take place. So I think that's part of it, unless you had a different question there, if it wasn't that. And Big Davey, if you want to say that differently, feel free to say that. And equip those that are lacking spiritually and technically, Father. Yes. Absolutely. All those for whatever you need and whatever your struggle is right now. Alan Reason, peace. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, different groups of Christians are going to describe God's rule, God's reign, God's will in using different language and different words. So if you've not run against it or heard that before, that's one way that it's described. Yeah, like Moses let people get divorced, but Jesus said they should only get divorced for specific reasons. Well, yes. Yes, and also we read through that passage and looked at the two debates that were going on at the time of, is divorce permissible for any and all reasons, and is there only exclusively one reason or not? But yeah. Yeah, well, they said permissive will of God. I thought hiding the actual fact or loss of transcripts is what they meant. No. Okay, I see it. Yeah. No, it's just a. So let me give an example here to kind of think about that. So the will for my kids would be for them to have certain things, that I would want them to have full access as they're growing up in my household and the way that they treat one another. But at times I may not exercise my rule, reign, and authority to them and let them do things that I would not want them to do. Like getting into a fight with one another, calling each other names, or having dirty rooms. I may permit things to go on that are not my will, but at some point, I'm going to exercise my rule and reign over them. So it's a permissive will, not a desired will, is one way of thinking about that. So while I would desire my kids to put their clothes immediately away, I would desire my kids to take out the trash when it's dirty instead of having to be told. I would desire for my kids to do the dishes and put them away. I permit them to not do the things that I would want them. So, Meme Heels, not intended to derail the combo. Your flat cap game is strong. Do you have a preferred brand, vendor, or not? Okay, so I've got two main vendors back here with hats. One of them is Village Hat Company, which a lot of these are from, and they are a cheaper level hat with more varieties. And then Boston Scully, which is what I'm wearing right now, and they like to name all their hats. I'm wearing the lunchbox. They like to name all of their hats, and they really only have a few styles. This style, which it can be patchwork or not patchwork, and then a 6-panel. And those are the two main styles that they have. So the Scullys are fantastic. And so Village Hat Company has multiple companies within there, but still finding more. You're familiar with the Scully? Yeah. If you're going to get started in, the other thing is Village Hat Company had Flat Cap of the Month Club. So for $20, I don't know if they still have it now or what it would be now. For $20, every month they mail me a hat. It's in my size. They mail the hat, and I don't get to pick it out, but I get to have it and enjoy it. So, Samarella, early romantic history and all those scriptures and everything is so complicated for you. Okay. Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I keep reading it, and I would say there are still places where it is complicated. I'm not convinced 100%. Well, one of the things too, like this confuses people, but when I had my class studying the Book of Revelation, one of the books that we read was 5 views on the Book of Revelation. Romanic, not romantic. Okay, I don't know romantic. What is romantic? Early romantic? You mean early Roman history? I've not heard it referred to that, if that's what you mean. I mean, I've heard Germanic, so I guess romantic would be similar. Sorry. Okay. Roman and Greek culture. I usually hear it referred to as Greco-Roman, but maybe that's a more modern term, and I'm older and it's gotten shortened. So, in the Book of Revelation, there are 5 different views on what happened, what it means, and that's all that. Yeah, that's wrestling. Greek and Roman culture, yes. Or 5 different views. We have to wrestle with the text. There are some that want to say the text is clear, there's only one meaning, everyone who doesn't believe my meaning is wrong. I disagree with that. Oh, well, they can refer to the same Samarella, but you also can divide them. Okay? In the same way that you can say, in some level, that Canada and United States are together in things. They also are separate countries. But in wars, we've always been on the same side of wars, other than the first couple where, those who did not revolt against England were in Canada, and those who didn't want, or after the Revolution, moved to Canada, and then, the War of 1812. After that, we've been pretty copacetic. Which means we're all good with each other, if you don't know that. Greek is a nation or country, and Rome is a following or class of people in it. Well, the Greek nation was, well, you have the Greek city-states that are all brought together by Alexander the Great. And you have Greek culture that goes out from there, that goes from Greece, goes to the Mediterranean, or through the Mediterranean, around down to Egypt and over to Persia. And then is ruled under 5 different generals after Alexander the Great dies. Roman culture comes from Rome, which is Italy, that then conquers the entire Mediterranean all the way around, does not fully extend all the way into Persia as far as Alexander the Great did, but does surround all of the Mediterranean, and then migrates north into England, into France, into Germany, and other places. So, Greek culture, Greco-Roman culture have overlap. The Greek language is used throughout Roman culture and Rome. Both can be looked at as countries. There is the country of Greece. There is Italy, but it would have called it Rome because it all emanated from the seat of power in Rome throughout the Italy. So later it becomes Italy. So you can make a distinction between them. You can make a distinction between country, nation, and culture, which is all lots of fun, Samarella. And if anyone was confused by that, I was a social studies major in college and spent lots of time studying Western civilization, which is also another term that we refer to Greek and Roman, and usually Western Civ will be before a certain date and after a certain date that you study it. So, okay. Let's get one more healing in at least, and then we'll see where we are. Loving the conversation, by the way. Loving the conversation. Let's get back to the text, though. And we can jump back and forth between the two. All right. When he entered Capernaum. So Capernaum, are they going to give us a footnote of where Capernaum is? And my mouse moved. There we go. Like I was just about to click it and it died. Okay. Capernaum was a town located in northern shore of the Sea of Galilee. It existed since Hasmonean time. So this would be the family of the Herod the Great and the rest of the Herods. And was a major trade and economic center on northern Galilee region. The population in the first century is estimated to be around 1,500 people. Capernaum became the hub of operations for Jesus' Galilee ministry. In modern times, its site was discovered. Hey, we're getting some archaeology in 1838 by the American explorer E. Robertson, and major excavation began in 1905 by German archaeologists Kohl and Watzinger. Not until 1968, however, were remains from the time of Jesus visible. In that year, Kobar and Lafreda began a series of annual archaeological campaigns that lasted until 1985. This work uncovered what is thought to be the house of Simon Peter, as well as ruins of a first-century synagogue beneath the later synagogue from the 4th and 5th century AD. Today, gently rolling hills and date palms frame the first-century site, a favorite tourist destination of visitors to Galilee. We'll go ahead and read. A centurion was a non-commissioned officer in the Roman army or one of the auxiliary territorial armies commanding a centura, normally 100 men. The responsibilities of centurions were broad, similar to modern junior officers, but there was a wide gap in social status between them and officers. A relatively few were promoted beyond the rank of senior centurion. The Roman troops stationed in Judea were auxiliaries, who would normally be rewarded with Roman citizenship after 25 years of service. Some of the centurions throughout the region may have served originally in Roman legions, regular army, and thus gained their citizenship at enlistment. Others may have inherited like the Apostle Paul did. Okay. So, in Capernaum, a centurion, so not going to be surprising that there's a centurion there, came to him and asked for help. Lord, my servant is lying at home, paralyzed in terrible anguish. Jesus said to him, I will come and heal him. But the centurion replied, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. Instead, just say the word and my servant will be healed. For I too am a man under authority with soldiers under me. I say to one, go, and he goes. And I say to another, come, and he comes. And to my slave, do this, and he does it. I would like a modern translation. I say, jump, and he says, how high? When Jesus heard this, he was amazed and said to those who followed him, I tell you the truth, I have not found such faith in anyone in Israel. I tell you, many will come from the east and west to share at the banquet with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be thrown out into outer darkness, for where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then Jesus said to the centurion, go, just as you believe, it will be done for you. And the servant was healed at that hour. So, we have an occasion where a Gentile comes. And Jesus is pointing out the astounding nature of the faith. This man realizes Jesus is under authority. He assumes Jesus has authority. Just say the word, and my servant will be healed. I've heard of who you are. I know your reputation. I believe it will happen. But what I think we overlook, the centurion goes on half of his servant. He doesn't send a man to Jesus in this story and say to Jesus, hey, my master has another servant and he'd like you to heal him. He takes the time to go on behalf of the servant. I mean, if you want to talk about thinking about the character of this man, yes, he has servants. He has those underneath him. He is willing to do something for the servant who would have no standing, or in comparison to him, have no standing. Like, you're just a servant. You are a lower rank. You are a lower in society. But yet, he goes on behalf, and he has tremendous faith. So he comes with full understanding of knowing who Jesus is and understanding I'm not worthy. So just the same as I'm a lowly centurion, although I have authority, there are those above me. I will not attain to the rank of being an officer. I'm just stuck here. I'm a junior officer, not able to move it past that. Like an enlisted person in the Army today doesn't get to be an officer in the same way of an officer coming in versus an enlisted person. You can go up through the ranks in the system of where you are. He understands it. Jesus, you're in a different system. You have supreme authority. You have the power to heal. He comes to him. And Jesus points out, some who are descendants of Abraham will never realize the fullness of who he is, but here's an outsider, and there are going to be outsiders in the kingdom. So, nice shout to Jesus' future speech to his disciples with servitude. Oh, yes. Yep. Okay. Ooh, you know what? Let's go to Peter's house. Let's go to Peter's house for one more healing. Now, when Jesus entered Peter's house, because we were just reading about Peter's house would have been in this region, there is now significant agreement among scholars that the house Simon Peter in Capernaum had been found beneath the ruins of a 5th century Byzantine church some 85 feet south of the synagogue, at the bottom of several layers of archaeological remains in the 1st century house that apparently was designated for public viewing sometime in the mid-1st century and continued to be used subsequent centuries. For details, go and read this book. Jesus' Own City, Bible and Spade. Interesting. Okay. So we have a really good evidence that this is Peter's house. One, because we know he's in Capernaum. Two, because there's a church that develops in there in the 1st century. And later, there's a church built on the ruins of that location in the 5th century. So, and it's only 84 feet south of the synagogue. Well, what would that be? Oh, yeah, that's really close. That's like the other side of my yard. So that'd be like, maybe there's 1-2 houses in between the synagogue and Peter's house. So it's just like, oh, I'm two houses down from the church. Okay. Now, when Jesus entered Peter's house, he saw his mother-in-law lying down, sick with fever. So, Peter's mother-in-law, Peter is married, struck with fever, having been thrown down. So this is just idiomatic way of describing that she is in no condition to get up and serve, and that she is sick. He touched her hand, and the fever left her. Then she got up and began to serve them. Let me see. Kai, and, because this could be translated, and she got up, or then she got up. They're giving a temporal, then, so it happens afterwards. She got up and served them. Though the nature of the serving is not specified, context suggests these would be the typical duties associated with domestic hospitality. The women's restoration from her illness is so complete that her activities can be resumed right away, a point of emphasis in the parallel in Luke 4. So the healing is so complete, she's not just able to sit up, she's able to go into hostess mode. She gets to be hostess. Jesus is in my house. My son Peter brought Jesus home. When it was evening, many demon-possessed people were brought to him. He drove out spirits with a word and healed all who were sick. In this way, what was spoken about the prophet Isaiah was fulfilled. Let me see what we have. Healed. Oh, actually, go up. A word. The expression with a word underscores Jesus' authority over demonic spirits, but also recalls the centurion's comment of authority. Oh, yeah. So we have the comment of the centurion, with a word, you will make my servant healed. With a word, that servant was healed. Now we have spirits, and with a word, Jesus also has not only the power over healing with a word, he has the power over demons with a word. And then 34, how the author distinguishes healing from exorcism, implying that these two are not identical. So casting out demons is not the same as healing. There can be some overlap with people who have a demon and a sickness, but here he's separating the two, pointing out they're two different things. Okay, what does the prophet Isaiah say? He took our weakness and carried our diseases. So Matthew does this interesting thing. So if we study how Matthew specifically, and we can look at the other Gospels and how Peter and John and also Paul use the Old Testament, the idea of prophecy is different than the modern usage of the word. Most of the time, the modern usage of prophecy is used from the standpoint of something that was predicted and then something that happened. And that is not how Matthew and others are using it. They are going to the text in the Old Testament, and they are finding things in the Old Testament and pointing them to Jesus. It does not mean in the Old Testament, when this was given, every single passage that is used was intended to be about the Messiah or about things and circumstances surrounding the Messiah. What they're pointing out is God is at work, just as God has always been at work. And here is a way in which God was at work. And then also, you're supposed to go and know what's the next thing that happens in here or what happened before these stories. We often are not that familiar. Even as much as I have read through the Bible, I am not familiar enough to know what is happening in Isaiah 53 before and after this passage. I do not know. Okay, let's keep going. Now, when Jesus saw a large crowd around him, he gave orders to go to the other side of the lake. Okay, so he was in Peter's house, and they're bringing disciples. So this sounds like it's evening. Was I right there? Let me go back. When it was evening. So this sounds like either it's later in the evening or it's the next day. Or we've jumped to a new conclusion, a new setting. But I think we're still in Capernaum. Your phone's at 1%. You have to be going, sorry, Samarella. No problems. God's blessings on you, Samarella. And everyone else. Thank you for lurking and listening and sharing and contributing to the conversation. Love you, friend. All right. Now, when Jesus saw a large crowd around him, he gave orders to go to the other side of the lake. So this is the Sea of Galilee. Then an expert in the law came to him and said, Teacher, I will follow you where you go. Jesus said to him, Foxes have dens, and the birds in the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Another of the disciples said to him, Lord, let me first go and bury my father. But Jesus said to him, Follow me and let the dead bury the dead. Okay. So the expert in the law is going to have, well, let's just see what it says on expert in the law first. Let me just read that. Or a scribe or expert in the law. They're just using the phrase. The statement, I will follow you wherever you go, is an offer to follow Jesus as a disciple, no matter what the cost. There is nothing wrong with this profession, but it is unlikely that the speaker had fully thought through all the implications of such a sweeping commitment to follow Jesus. So, therefore, Jesus is pointing out what it really will take. Jesus made his home in Capernaum, so in spite of common interpretations of this statement, he was not technically homeless. More likely, Jesus replied here has to do with increasing opposition and rejection he and his disciples are encountering. So the question amounts to, does the man who wants to follow him understand the rejection he is facing? The implication is that he does not. Yes, so it's, do you know what you're signing up for? Do you know what you're signing up for? And then another one comes and wants to be his disciple. See what they have on this footnote. There are several options for the meaning of Jesus' reply. Let the dead bury the dead. Recent research suggests that the burial customs in the vicinity of Jerusalem from about 20 BC to AD 70 involved a reinterment of bones a year after the initial burial, once the flesh was rotted away. At that point, the son would have placed his father's bone in a special box as an ossuary to be set in the wall of the tomb. Thus, Jesus could be rebuking the man for wanting to wait around for as much as a year before making a commitment to follow him. In first century Jewish custom, to have followed Jesus rather than bury one's father would have been a serious dishonoring of one's father. The remark is an idiom, possibly a proverb, saying the meaning, the matter in question is not the real issue, in which case Jesus was making a word play on the wording of the man's literal request. Okay. This remark could be figuratively referencing the various kinds of people, meaning let the spiritually dead bury the dead. I don't see that one. It could also be literally and designed to shock the hearer by surprising of the contrast. Whichever option is preferred, it is clear that the most important priority is to follow Jesus. Okay. So the other thought that, so there's another part, which is what I'm inclined to do. So yes, if his father is already dead, right? Burial is happening within 24 hours. Burial is happening the same day. So if it's the box ossuary thing, I don't think that there's an issue of that. He could go back later on the anniversary and go bury the bones and do that if necessary. Okay, so he might need an exemption or excuse there. He doesn't need an excuse from not following until after that time, would be my thought. So the bone box ossuary thing, no. The others don't make sense to me. And you're going to bury, like I said, you're going to bury the same day, before sundown, because touching someone who is dead is going to make you unclean until sundown. So, and within 24 hours for sure. Burial are happening within 24 hours of people dying. So if he's saying, let me go bury his father who's dead, he should not be here at this meeting. He should be burying his dad. I don't think his dad is dead. I think he's saying, once my father's dead, once I have an inheritance, once I have all of that, I'll come and follow you. He's making a flat-out excuse, I'm not ready. So I don't see this as, I see this more strongly of, he wants to get the accolades for I'm willing to with an excuse of why he can't. So let me give a modern example of that. So when I was going to go to seminary, I was married and had 3 kids. And I mean, I could have went someplace local, but I was going to go to seminary in another state, which meant I needed to move 18 hours away, and I needed to sell my house, and my wife had to find a job, and my kids had to move to another school, and I had to leave my family and friends. I could have said, well, wait, I need to wait until my kids are grown and they're out of the house before we move across country, because otherwise I'm uprooting my kids from their friends. Or wait, my wife has a job. I can't take her away from her job to go do this thing. there's lots of ways in which we make excuses around those things. And I'm not saying everyone's called to do that. That's what I felt called to do. And my wife and I agreed on that, and we went and did it. But we can make a lot of excuses along the ways. And I think this is just straight up an excuse. I got to wait for my parents to die, and I'll go bury my parents, and then I can come follow you. I don't think his dad's dead at all. That's what I think. Okay, now he's going to finally get in the boat. I'm not going to go that far. We will go with that. So we went through verse 22. So 8:22. So Matthew 7 through 8:22. That's what we got done today. And I'm watching, had asked about doing a try not to laugh. Not so sure how this fully works. It's interesting, though. It opened it in a separate window for me, which seems odd, but okay. We'll try this a minute. Let me shrink it down so it fits. Okay. Now let me switch what we're showing. Oh, I understand the premise. I understand the premise I'm watching. I'm just saying I've not done this. So plus, I'm also not sure why I don't want to laugh. I mean, is that really an accomplishment to not laugh? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Nor is that. It's not giving me what I want. Okay, got to open it up fully. Then switch here. Weird. It won't. It won't give it to me. That's just weird. Okay, I got to go find and copy and paste it again. Okay, we'll go here.
Well, welcome everybody. Happy April.
It's more fun than a punishment. Okay. Whoops. I hate full screen mode. I wanted this mode, theater mode. You did it with chat and almost made it to the end because you're in a bad mood. Eventually, all your goofiness wore out. Okay. And I'm looking here, so it looks like there must be a really good joke right there, most replayed. And then another spike right here. And then we get down to the end. Okay. You got to the end and you had to let out a guffaw. Okay. How was the volume on this? Let me know. It's super loud for me. That's what I'm saying. Do I really want an accomplishment that's not laughing? That's my point. Do I really want an accomplishment to not laugh? I guess, you know what, let me grab this and move myself over. I'm underneath all of that. Let me find that a minute. Where is, okay, there it is. And need to go one more. Oh, I need to go a few more. Why is that still on top of me? It shouldn't be. Oh, that's okay. There we go. Just watch it. If you laugh, you laugh. I just thought you'd find it entertaining. I know. But you get my point, though, I hope. Like, so I win by not laughing? Wouldn't it? I don't know. I just... There's lots of these things out there. Let me put it that way. Okay, let's see what happens. Let me know if the volume is too loud.
Fool's Day.
Yes.
Seth and I are here trying something a little fun in celebration of a holiday, if you can call April Fool's Day a holiday.
Most certainly a holiday.
Most certainly a respected
I
holiday.
celebrate privately, generally.
Oh, no. What we're doing is a classic Don't Laugh Challenge, and we are doing basically all Bible jokes since, we're a Bible engagement organization. We just want to have some fun. So we're going to take turns telling each other jokes, and there's a little cool wrinkle in this, though, because about half the jokes we found on the internet. We scoured the internet for our favorite jokes, but then the other half... minutes scouring. But then the other half of the jokes were written in-house by one of our staff writers, who shall remain anonymous because she wants to. Her name is not Christine.
Neither is it Christine Kazar.
No, we will
That's
not.
A different person.
That's a different person. We will not reveal that. You might have heard some of these Bible jokes that Seth and I found, but I can pretty much guarantee you've not heard the ones that Christine wrote. I mean, our anonymous source dropped off in an unmarked envelope on our doorstep. So we're gonna go. We'll have a counter up to see who laughs the most.
Yes.
And should we do rock paper scissors to see who goes first?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm only pausing it because I don't think we're at the part that does anything. I like the competition between two people, and you're trying to make each other laugh. That aspect of it I really like. But as me as a person trying to not laugh as an accomplishment feels weird.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, you win. There it is.
Okay,
Never
David.
go paper. All right, I'm ready.
Do you need to build a boat? Because I know a guy. He's an architect. I got him.
You can't. It's not making me laugh with your laugh. All right. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Why is Christianity the most dramatic religion?
Why?
Because other religions say do, do, do. But Christianity says dun, dun, dun. That's a laugh. That's a good one.
That's really good.
That's a good one. All right.
That
you're
was
up.
bad.
Okay. Did you know that Jesus is divine
I did.
and we are the branches? It's fine. I'll leave it alone.
I'm not giving you another one.
Sorry, I went on a limb on that one.
How many multi-tiered jokes do you have?
I got layers and layers.
You
and
do.
Layers.
All right. So this is a good question here. Do you know what kind of pork people ate in the Old Testament? Abraham.
Oh, that was bad.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
their laughter
Okay.
makes you laugh. Yeah.
Do you know how you settle church disputes?
How?
With cannons.
That's a good one. Okay, so we've been doing the podcast in Daniel,
That's right.
lately,
Yeah.
and we were going through it. Nebuchadnezzar's dream, I think we can both agree, was pretty confusing.
Right.
But his second dream really stumped him. I figured you'd like that one.
I like that.
I like
that
Okay.
one.
How did Delilah get into Samson's house? She picked his locks.
I get it.
You got it. You got it.
I
You
get
didn't
that one.
laugh,
I didn't
but you
laugh.
got it.
I get
Okay.
that one. Did Eve ever have a date with Adam? No, just an apple.
Dang it! I keep laughing. I forget that it's a competition, and I just want to start laughing.
I mean, they're funny.
They're funny. Okay.
They're funny.
Okay.
All right, you're up.
Believing only 12.5% of the Bible makes you an atheist.
That one like deserves a laugh.
I heard
It's
that
so
one
well
recently.
written.
I heard that one recently.
Atheist.
That joke has
sure
layers
that
in
I'm straight.
itself. I like that. I wouldn't think I would laugh at a math joke. That's pretty good.
You got it.
Okay, who was the most business savvy woman in the Bible?
I have no idea.
It was Pharaoh's daughter. She went down to the bank of the Nile and pulled out a little profit.
No! Too late! I restrained myself too late. Okay. Okay.
Someone just shared that one recently too.
I heard that Paul lost his eyesight in the Bible.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Because he never saw Jesus coming. It's kind of appalling when you think about it.
The second one, it's like the extra right hook. It's not fair. It's appalling.
Appalling when you think
I thought you were legitimately done.
Oh no.
I thought you were
Never saw
like, because his
Jesus
name was. I
coming.
thought you were gonna like,
Yeah.
but that was more joke.
No, more joke.
Hey, knock knock.
Who's there? I'm so nervous.
Enoch.
Enoch who?
He was not. I guess he's gone or something.
I don't know if I get it, and I'm not laughing, or if I haven't got it yet.
Because he went away with God. So you knock and he's not there. Nope.
I win this round.
All right, fine. That one didn't work.
Who's the best character in the Bible?
Jesus.
Wrong.
Oh.
No.
A trick question.
A trick question.
Okay. Give it. Do it again.
Okay.
Do it again.
Who's the best character in the Bible? Noah. He has the best arc.
Oh, that's good. It's a
good.
literary joke.
It's a literary joke because he's a
Story.
character.
He does have a good character.
That was bad.
Hey, can I tell you another knock knock joke?
That's bad.
Sure.
Okay, knock.
Who's there?
Jay.
Jay who?
Okay, hold on. Don't start just like naming kings of Israel, trying to show off to our audience here. Jehu. Come on, that's just messed up.
It's such a niche joke that I'm embarrassed for laughing. Okay.
Jehu.
Do you remember how Lot's wife felt about leaving Sodom?
Oh no. I'm not ready for this.
She was salty.
She felt salty.
Okay, I can bear that one. I can bear that one. All right. Oh, okay. You should know this one. Who's the greatest comedian in the Bible? It's Samson. I mean, he brought the house down.
I've heard this
Yeah,
one.
it's a classic.
I've heard this
It's a
one.
classic.
I've heard this one.
It's a classic.
I've been inoculated against your charms. Okay. What would Esau do with his brother's snacks?
What would Esau do with his brother's snacks?
He'd eat them.
Oh,
That is nerdy.
no, that wasn't good.
For everyone who doesn't know, because I feel like a lot of people are like, what? Esau went and founded the nation of Edom, E-D-O-M.
Edom means red.
And Edom.
It's because of red hair.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. His brother.
Oh, boy. All right. You know Gideon, right? We spent a lot of time in Judges.
Yeah.
Gideon, he had his doubts about God's plan to use him, But God still answered him in due time. The dew on the sheepskin. The dew on the...
Yeah.
Yeah. The dew of the
Apparently,
morning.
I'm not aware enough of the story to laugh at.
He didn't deliver that joke well.
I love
Okay.
that one.
His
Okay.
delivery is bad.
Did you know Jeremiah opened up a French candy store?
Oh, no. No, I did not know Jeremiah opened up a French candy store.
He named it La Mince.
I like that joke way too much. That's too funny.
Is that a Christine joke?
Yeah, it's definitely a Christine joke.
Thank
That
you,
has Christine. That has our anonymous source written all over it.
Our anonymous source, we thank deeply.
The book is
Oh, laments.
Laments.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All
The
right.
missing part of it.
Okay,
Name.
this is a serious question. Which servant of God was the worst lawbreaker in the whole Bible?
Who?
It was Moses. He broke all 10 commandments at once.
Yeah. Wonk, wonk, wonk.
I keep laughing and like. Okay. Remember the prophet Balak sent to curse Israel?
Oh, yes, I do.
His donkey had to bail him out.
Is there another part to it?
That's it.
I've survived.
You've survived the joke. Okay.
Okay.
Totally wrong.
This is a chronology joke,
Okay.
right? So just like testing your biblical chronology.
Okay.
At what time of day was Adam created? A little before Eve. You get it?
Whatever happened to the gods of the Philistines? They gone.
I gotta laugh at that one. There's one. I had to laugh at that one.
One of the Philistine gods
he
is
told
named
it right.
Dagon.
It's not funny if you explain it, David.
Well, I don't think everyone knows that.
Everybody knows Dagon.
Was he a fish god or something?
god.
Fish god.
Dagon.
He's the
Dagon.
one that falls down, all his hands fall
that
off.
was great delivery. They gone.
Because fish have hands.
Okay. This is the Philistines when they go to the ark and when the temples, the Ark of the Covenant's brought into the Philistine temple.
Yeah.
And the god falls over.
Oh.
That's the Dagon.
That Dagon.
That's Dagon.
That's Dagon. Okay.
This fish has hands.
That's fishy.
That's fishy.
Delivery is half of what makes the
All right.
joke. Delivery.
You're writing the Esther Devos right now, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
So do you remember when Haman threatened to kill Esther and her people?
Yeah.
I mean, the stakes had never been higher. The stake. The pylon.
the pylon. The
stake.
the impaling
Yeah,
stake.
that one. All right, fine. I thought that one would get you.
Okay.
All right.
Jesus.
Why you point to yourself? Continue.
Jesus and his gospel are my bread and butter.
Mine too.
I feed on Jesus and spread the gospel.
Yeah,
Spread it.
You spread it like butter.
All over the world. Okay.
Sounds
Kind of an
good.
economics question here. Okay, so get your economics finance hat on. All right. How could the Son of Man afford to pay it all? It's because Jesus saves. Find it. Find it.
You earned a smile.
I earned a smile.
Sally,
I'll
so
take a smile.
sneak that one in there.
Okay.
I want to see that 0.5 down here.
After crossing the Red Sea, life for Israel was intense.
Yep.
Intense.
Yeah.
Like tense. Like tense.
All right. Oh man. Speaking more of Daniel, poor Belshazzar. You know, Belshazzar so blinded by his own pride that he didn't even see his downfall coming. I mean, you got to hand it to him.
The writing on the wall.
The writing. Yeah, I mean, the writing was on the wall.
The writing was on the wall. Yeah. Do you know how many times I've read the book of Daniel?
How many times?
Many, many times.
Many times.
Many
times. Okay. How long did Cain hate his brother?
How long?
As long as he was able. That's a good one.
Fine, you got me. You got me. You earned it. Okay. Remember the story of Absalom?
Yeah.
And how he died?
King David's son. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a hair-raising ordeal.
Because he got on the tree.
He got on the tree. Yeah. No. Okay.
Okay. How do you think Jacob's brother felt after his blessing was stolen?
How?
I mean, he was stewing.
Okay. Do you remember the friends of the paralytic in the story?
Yeah, like lowered him through the roof.
Yeah. Their faith was through the roof.
That's so dumb.
You even like said it yourself.
I did, but I
You're
didn't put it
yes,
together.
Like, it's on the roof, yeah.
Their faith was through the roof. That's pretty funny. I like that one. All right. This is a good one. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember how long you spent studying Job when we were in Job.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. Okay. So you should know this, right? Which biblical character was the youngest to speak foul language? I mean, it was Job,
Okay.
right? Because he cursed the day he was born. Come on, that's too good. That's so funny.
Now imagining Job just coming out swearing.
We're getting down. We're getting down.
Getting down to the bottom. Who was the best DJ in the Bible?
I don't know.
Jesus, he turned tables.
That is funny. That's funny. So like, let's do some like imagination here, right? So
Okay.
can you
Little
imagine?
imagination.
Can you imagine the kind of questions Mary's family would have asked after the wise men showed up for the birth of Jesus? You can just kind of imagine.
Okay.
So like, imagine like they come in, they're like, "So Mary, what did the men from the east bring?" She's like, "Oh, you know, the typical messianic gifts: gold, frankincense. Need I say myrrh?"
I wasn't expecting to be gone by that one. Was that a Christine?
Oh yeah, anonymous source.
That was a
anonymous source?
grimace.
Okay.
That was not a giggle. That was like
Deep in the
this is just
recesses
sad.
of the prehistoric past.
Yes.
What's the difference between the book of Joshua and Genesis 4? One gets Canaan and one gets Canaan.
That is deep. that is deep. Okay. Do you remember where Solomon's temple was located?
No. In his mind?
His temple.
God.
It was right here.
Right here.
It's
For
just
everybody's
temple.
Everyone's temple. Everyone has a temple right there.
Half
Oh,
a
did you think
jokes
I meant the
are
building?
I meant
our
the-
delivery.
sorry,
That
that's
delivery
confusing.
was
All right,
flawless.
you have one more each?
One more each.
Okay.
What was good about Joseph's policy to store grain for 7 years?
I don't know.
It helped get the famine.
The fan.
And I'm out!
All right, my last shot. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Which biblical city is against the COVID mask mandate? Damascus. Woo! There they are. All right, that's all our jokes. That's all we've
it.
got. I don't know who won. Who do you think won?
I think I won.
Do you? I think
I'm
you won
so
too.
confident.
I feel like we both laughed a lot though. We can't see the score that's down here, so we have to go to our judges who have been keeping the score quiet. So who won?
David wins.
Oh! Oh, I mean, man, humble winner.
Victory.
I
Well done.
I don't
You
care.
won.
Thank
you
you.
deserve-
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
You've been a dad for less time than I have.
have.
However,
Yeah.
you've mastered the skills more deeply than I have.
Thank you to our anonymous source.
Happy April Fool's Day.
Happy April Fool's Day.
Put your best dad jokes in the comments.
Ooh, that's good. Put your best Bible jokes in the comments.
And
I
who
like that.
knows where they'll show up next.
That's interesting. Maybe I should scroll the comments. So this was last year. 4,500 comments. I'm not reading that. Good grief. No way. But that was fun. Let me move this back where it normally is. Okay. But some of those jokes could have been funny. They just didn't know how to deliver the joke. They didn't know how to deliver the joke. Like I'll give you more here. We still got a bunch of Noah jokes is where we were at. This was one of my all-time favorites as a kid. Oh yeah, the clips have it? Okay. Why did Noah pour oil on one of his monkeys? Why did Noah pour oil on one of his monkeys? I'll give you just a second to figure it out. Then I'll do joke and delivery. Okay. Why did Noah pour oil on one of his monkeys? He wanted to see a monkey shine. He wanted to see a monkey shine. Not a great joke, but it was funny as a kid. So, all right. Ba-da-bum. Thank you for that. I did enjoy it. You were right. Yeah. Yeah, it's like you could figure it out, but sometimes if you're trying to laugh, it's in the delivery. Darn it, should have typed it. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Those that weren't here earlier, I did mention, I'll mention again, I did not end up getting the job in New York, which means I'm not moving anywhere, which means a lot of the stuff that I've been working on, trying to figure out what I'm doing, all of that. By the end of the week, I should have a schedule set up for what's happening in March. What I'm going to be starting to do exercise next Monday on stream, and then what I'm going to do, then we'll do Bible afterwards. When I'll be streaming on the Church Digital, when I'll be trying to do co-working streams on the Fish Cam. I'm trying to get that computer updated. Got a cam on it that I'll be playing with. Need to get microphone over there and or upgrade microphone here. Not sure what I'm doing, those aspects, but I'll be playing around with all of that. So, and then when I'm going to be leading the Equipping Digital Missionaries course. So, hey, I got a lot of stuff going on. By the end of the week, I hope to have all of that clarified, all of that scheduled out and figured out. So, I'm excited about that. I was starting to get to the point of just feeling like if I said yes to the church, it was going to be a distraction from everything else that I'm doing. And so I'd made the decision, if they said yes, they wanted me, then I was supposed to be there. So having that out there with them saying no, then I'm not supposed to, it makes it easy to think about that. Do you ever do totally seated workouts? You've seen folks do that for strengthening their core, so we're curious. I've never done that. And the workouts that I'm going to start doing is with ReachCon. And so there's a bunch of other people. Anybody is welcome to join. So if you are not over on Reach Conferences, Discord, there's still time. It starts March 3. I'm going to stream. I'm not going to stream them. I'm just going to stream myself. I got to figure out, and I've got a thought of how I'm going to do it, of having these on and then also having my earbuds in. So one will be me streaming and talking, and the other will be me listening to things. I hope that's going to work. If not, I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure it out. So I'll probably be watching on my phone and streaming on my computer is what I'm thinking is going to happen. So I'll go live ahead of time. What I'll probably do when I get done with the workout is there will be a BRB, and I will do a quick cleanup. Won't be doing shower at that time, but I'll do a quick cleanup before we get into anything else for the stream. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm planning. And we'll see how that all turns out. Oh, you know what? Let me just do a refresh on this anyway. I need to remember to do that sometimes before I go try to raid, because I keep finding that some people are not there. Let me just click on the Bible jokes. Oh, there we go. Because we did those. And I even did some extras. Oh, I'm planning to watch the workout on my phone is in what I'm thinking. So I'll have my earbuds listening to the phone, and I'll use my other to connect to the computer. Supersonic, saved by grace. Catch him. All right. So I haven't gone there in a while. Looking at, I don't remember following. Oh, I think I do now. Yes. Who else? Who else? Who else? Da 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 da. I just get tunes stuck in my head, and then I want to sing the tune. Da 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 da, and the words don't matter. I make them up, and then we sing them, or I do, whatever. Yeah, 18. Okay, we're going to go over to Big Unk. I don't think I've rated Big Unk in a couple of weeks since he was doing a big event. I think is the last time I rated Big Unk. So we're going to Big Unk. And I'll send you off with a blessing. What a great stream, everybody. We went till 11. I may start doing 11 on Monday. We'll see how my whole schedule works out. But I got to figure out some other live hangouts that I'm going to do as well in Discord. So I'll let you know all of that, I hope. Let me send you a blessing. May God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So love hanging out with all of you. And let's go and let's bless other people.
Flat cap on his head, he's streaming live. Reading from the book, the word's so alive. A prayer in his heart that lifts the soul. In the digital world where spirits roll. Hallelujah, from the screen we scream. Join the pastor in the holy dream, spreading love with every verse he reads, planting hope like precious seeds. He's a shepherd with a virtual flock, leading us to faith around the clock. Tapping amen as we raise our hands, is buzzing with the gospel truth.